Wow, guys.
Down in there would be cool.
Yo, but she got a lot in her mind, bro.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from an unusual clip of President Joe Biden to a bleeding tree whose blood might just save your life. Believe me when I say you'll want to watch this till the end. Ready? Let's jump in. What better way to start today's episode than with a fish that looks like a fish but isn't a fish at all? Confused? Well, that's exactly what the Chinese government was expecting and counting on when they created what you're seeing on your screen.
可以，哎，这个可以。刚才这老师说了，就跟着去这个探测，
看间谍嘛，
看间谍。 然后跑出去游完了再游回来，电能放多长时间啊？
Still confused? Believe it or not, that's a drone. Yes, a realistic underwater drone that has been designed and built in the form and shape of a fish. The developers of the drone state that its battery is capable of lasting for roughly 6 to 8 hours. If it had been developed by normal scientists, I would have said it was for research purposes, but given its military origins, it can only be one thing, or a couple of military-related things. Espionage, stealth missions, and other things I should definitely not be saying out loud. Someone on one of the platforms where this was shared made this profound statement. It does sound funny, but when you think about it, that's a possibility. Anyway, let's see what the future holds with this invention. But what do you guys think?
可以，哎，这个可以。刚才这老师说了，就跟着去这个探测。
They always say microwaves are dangerous, but in this fast-paced age where you need to quickly warm your food or bake a DIY cake, microwaves feel like a lifesaver. However, take a look at this footage and tell me what you think about microwaves afterward.
Holy shit, guys, you've got to watch this. You've got to watch it. You've got to stay with me, watch this quickly. I'm going to turn you... Okay. Boiling water in the microwave. We're going to take the water out. Put it there, look. And we're going to test it. You watching? That is going off, look. You see that? That's out of the microwave, guys. That is going off, isn't it?
In the video, a man heats water in the microwave, takes it out, and uses a standard electromagnetic radiation EMR detector. As soon as he brings the detector close to the water, the device goes off, beeping non-stop. Even if you are like me, who doesn't know much about this stuff, you're likely to conclude that this doesn't look good. And that's what I did. I showed it to my team, and they said things like, "Imagine the amount of radiation we're exposed to from warming our food. Microwaves are incredibly convenient, but this demonstration proves we shouldn't have them in our homes." I kept going on and telling everyone we ought to be concerned and needed to make sure we didn't have radiation in our homes. I almost said this was one of the reasons for cancer. Everyone has had enough, and that's when they brought Julius in to address me. Julius, being Julius, that is the team's science whiz, looked at me and smiled. He told me he knew how I loved conspiracies, but there was actually nothing to worry about. He then explained that the type of radiation used in microwaves is non-ionizing, meaning it doesn't have enough energy to remove tightly bound electrons or ionize atoms or molecules. Non-ionizing radiation, such as microwaves, is generally considered safe and is not known to cause cancer. Seeing I was confused, he used examples. He stated that ionizing radiation like X-rays or gamma rays is the type that can cause damage to cells and DNA, leading to cancer. Microwaves don't fall into this category. I questioned him about the man's device, and he stated that standard EMR detectors are designed to measure electromagnetic fields in the environment. They could detect EMFs from various sources like electrical appliances, cell phones, and other electronic devices. If an EMR detector beeps when brought near heated water, it might be detecting residual heat or steam rather than electromagnetic radiation. EMR detectors are not typically sensitive to heat or steam, so this could indicate a misunderstanding or misuse of the device. He also added that the video seems to misinterpret what the EMR detector is measuring. The beeping might be due to other environmental EMFs or a malfunction of the detector. It made me go back to the comments section of the clip, and most of the science whiz on our platforms was saying the same thing. Some even stated that the bowl might be the reason for the beeps. Now, what he said makes a lot of sense, so I'm tempted to believe him. But guys, what if Julius turned on us? What if the microwave companies and the government paid all the science guys to say this? Should I be worried, or am I just being paranoid? You tell me.
That is going off, look. You see that?
A man in Thailand was out one night when he saw something odd in the sky. Take a look.
It's not a glitch in my phone. I'm zooming in. It's shining, doing something. And as far as I know, it's not a building. I don't know, guys. It's not a building. I know the buildings here. Look, this is my lighter. So this is this building. So it's very high. As far as I know, this is the highest building around here.
It was the strange glowing object that somewhat illuminated the night sky. The object kept changing colors in the sky, which is something you usually expect with fireworks when it comes to the sky. But this had nothing to do with fireworks. In fact, it was nothing he had seen before. Given how strange the thing looked, he had to reassure everyone who was watching the clip by telling them that it was not his phone glitching out. This was actually happening and he could see it with his own eyes. He asked everyone who was watching the clip if they'd seen that before, and if they had, to help him identify it. No one came out to say anything, of course, but the paranormal community was way ahead of them in terms of analysis and conclusion. They had concluded that this had to be a UFO. How else were they going to explain footage that shows an object pulsing and shifting colors in a way that seems almost otherworldly? It's very understandable. The phenomenon was too distinct and persistent to be easily explained away as a common occurrence or a technological malfunction. But then again, this is the internet era and people are capable of faking things. So what do you think? Could this be an authentic UFO sighting, or is there a more mundane explanation for this strange glowing object? Share your thoughts in the comments section.
Shining, doing something. And as far as I know, it's not a building. I don't know, guys. It's not a building. I know the buildings here. Look, this is my lighter. So this is this building. So it's very high. As far as I know, this is the highest building around here. And that thing is doing stuff, changing colors up there. I don't know. UFO. I don't know, guys. Anyone from Pattaya know what this is? Jomtien? Looks kind of weird to me. Standing very still.
I don't know what's going on out there in the heavens, but there must be something weird.
Anne ben böyle bulmaya çalışıyorum.
Burada bir şey var. Ana peşinden her yolu.
Siteden oldum ben.
In Turkey, instead of rain, snow, or hail, locals saw round pearls falling from the sky. Once it was all over, people came out of their homes and were found on the streets gathering these tiny white pearls. That's the alleged story, but it just didn't add up. I'm not trying to be skeptical, but if it rained these pearls even for a few seconds, say 10 seconds, there would be more of these pearls on the ground than we're seeing in the clips. If that were the case, these pearls would have been everywhere and covered almost every space of that town, but we only see a few of them being gathered by the individuals in the clip. I'm not the most analytical, but this discrepancy had me digging around and I came across a contradictory story. Some individuals who had commented on posts of the clip made these comments. According to these guys and many more, what we are seeing on our screens aren't pearls but rather plastic pellets that have possibly fallen or split from a truck. It was probably intended for production and somehow found its way to these individuals who then filmed themselves collecting it. This seems a tad more logical, but if that's the case, they're handling some really toxic stuff and need to be careful. Why am I even saying that as though they can hear me? Anyway, what do you guys think? Could there have really been a rain of pearls, or did someone find this clip of these humble folks collecting these plastic pellets and decide to start a controversy? Let us know what you think in the comments. Still on strange things in the sky, we move all the way to Kentucky.
There you go. Check it.
Not a UFO. What is it?
Check it out. There it is.
Yeah, but what?
Beautiful. Scary at the same time.
You want my phone? You want phone?
Yeah.
Look at that.
A group of friends were out one night when they spotted something strange in the sky. There were two unusual celestial bodies. One was the moon, the other was a red planet-like object positioned behind it. This red planet-like thing in the sky looked pretty close to the Earth. Not only that, this red planet was also rotating, which is weird. The one recording was very sure and very convinced that he was looking at the planet Nibiru. There was further speculation that this planet could be the reason for the recent surge in UFO and UAP sightings. A few years ago, I would have jumped on the bandwagon and asked the government to tell the truth. But if this is true, and there was really a planet that large close to our planet, we could see it too, right? I mean, everyone would have noticed it. Aside from that, we wouldn't see it rotating like it is now, since our planet would also be rotating too. Unless, of course, this is rotating too fast. Don't even get me started on the damage the gravitational pull from both planets would cause. Based on this evidence, I, along with all the science whizzes out there, call hoax on this clip. If you think Julius taught me everything I am saying, you're right. If you also think I learned and told you everything because I am an innate genius, you're also right. But what do you think of the whole thing?
Now look at that. See this? Couldn't see it at first with my naked eye because I'm trying to look at the moon and the camera at the same time. Well, check that out. Look at that.
A subscriber sent in an intriguing picture. They mentioned that a friend had discovered a strange-looking creature embedded in a rock. The creature appears to be a tiny humanoid with wings. The creature was dried up and stuck to one side of the rock, while the other rock had an outline of its shape. Based on everything science has taught us and discovered, there are no creatures like this. When we stepped away from science, however, this falls in line with what we could commonly refer to as a fairy. It must have been there for a long time, as the fairy-like figure was completely dried and preserved in the rock's imprint. While this sounds interesting, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Is this really real, or is this an elaborate hoax meant to mislead us? Share your thoughts. Believe me when I say I've seen some strange things in my day, but this next clip has me stunned. Take a look. First off, we're not told who recorded this clip, where they recorded it, and why they were recording in the first place. The only thing we know is they were exploring the depths and came across a creature that was trying to escape their light. If you look closely, you'll see this creature. The team noticed this and turned off the lights. After a few seconds, they turned the lights back on and saw this creature in its full glory. I've looked at the clip several times and can't seem to make it out. Some of my team members joked that it was Godzilla, but if that was indeed Zilla, the only thing we would have been finding of that vessel, if the clip is indeed real, was its black box. Anyway, can you guys help out with analyzing this? What do you see? Is this even real at all? I'll be reading your comments. If possible, start with the word analysis to make it easier to find. Thank you. Say goodbye to having fake teeth after losing your natural ones. Finally, I can have new teeth. Wow, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Pretend you didn't hear that. Scientists have developed a groundbreaking tooth regrowth medicine, the first of its kind. This innovative treatment is set to be tested in September 2024 at Kyoto University Hospital. The medicine will first be tested on healthy individuals, followed by patients with a congenital tooth deficiency to confirm its safety and effectiveness, with the goal of marketing it by 2030. It works by deactivating the USAG1 protein to enable tooth growth. This treatment could benefit people with congenital tooth absence as well as those who have lost teeth due to cavities or injuries. I'm not going to pretend to fully understand the exact science behind it, but imagine the possibility of regrowing your own teeth instead of relying on implants or dentures. This breakthrough would revolutionize dental care and improve the quality of life for countless people. I don't know about you, but I can't wait for this to be fully out. 2030 all of a sudden feels too far, and before you conclude, this has nothing to do with my accidental spill of too much info at the beginning of this clip. Thank you very much, and with that, we move on to the next clip. For this one, we move off the world to another planet in our solar system, Jupiter. What you're seeing on your screen is no fairy tale, it's very real. It was captured on the planet Jupiter. Once it went live, everyone had questions. What's the green light in the atmosphere? Some assumed it was green men, others thought it was a sign of life on our planet. If you know anything about our world, then you know this went viral. Others thought it was a sign of life on the planet. If you know anything about our world, then you know this went viral. After what had happened, NASA had to come out to clarify. According to them, the green light is due to the lightning in clouds containing a solution of ammonia and water. On the Earth, lightning occurs in clouds containing water vapors, but on Jupiter, it happens due to ammonia and water solution. Sounds plausible, scientific, and honest. I believed it, but not some members of my team. They think NASA may have just given us the explanation because they accidentally made the picture public and didn't want the rest of us to know there's life out there. What do you guys think? A woman recently realized something strange about her dog's eyes and decided to upload online seeking answers. Take a look. Someone in my team thought this was possession, but after a lot of teaching from Julius, the conclusion is that they looked glazed over. I feel it's important to note that the person was not me. Back to the dog. This phenomenon can apparently occur in dogs for various reasons, often related to health, age, or eye conditions. This image was, however, uploaded on one of our paranormal platforms and it has sparked a range of theories and arguments. Some people speculate that the glazed eyes might indicate something more sinister, such as a shapeshifter or skinwalker. These are creatures from folklore believed to have the abilities to transform into animals. Some also think the glazed appearance could simply be due to the woman shining a light directly into the dog's eyes, which can cause a reflective or glazed look. Now the question is, who's right, the speculators or Julius? Share your thoughts. A passenger on a plane flying over Nevada shared this fascinating footage of a light show on the ground below. At first glance, one might mistake these lights for luminous entities floating in the desert landscape. However, after a lot of digging around, I came across a comment that provided an alternative explanation. The individual stated that this was probably recorded just above the solar station in Nevada. If that's the case, then it would explain the light show. It would just be sunlight being reflected from solar panels on the ground. While the logical explanation seems plausible, the allure of mystery still lingers. Could there be more to these lights than meets the eye? With the desert's reputation for the unexpected, who's to say for certain? Some Bigfoot hunters ventured into the woods one night in search of the elusive creature, but were stunned to encounter what they believed was a fairy. Take a look.
Tell you what, down in there would be cool.
That's what I'm thinking. We'd have to take one time, be careful.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, we need to get out in the house. It's a little different.
In the darkness, behind the trees, a small glowing creature could be seen flying or moving. It was larger than a firefly, but still small in size. The men who were experienced Bigfoot hunters claim to have frequently seen these glowing creatures during their expeditions and firmly believe that they're fairies. Imagine being out in the dark woods searching for one legendary creature and stumbling upon something equally mysterious. These hunters were baffled and thrilled by their findings, but not everyone shared their enthusiasm. Some think they just came across a rodent, while some say they're only seeing the things they want to see. You guys have seen the clip too. What do you think?
Hey, what? Down in there would be cool. That's what I'm thinking. We'd have to take one time. Be careful.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, we need to get out in the house. It's a little different.
Another intriguing piece of footage has emerged, this time from a graveyard. What makes a graveyard so interesting, you ask? Well, there was smoke emanating from the area, yet there was no visible fire.
Вот еврейское кладбище в Дербенте. А вот это сразу загорелось.
The sight of smoke rising from a graveyard may naturally evoke thoughts of the supernatural. After all, who would be setting fires in a cemetery? However, one insightful commenter proposed a different perspective. It's possible that this mysterious smoke is not the result of nefarious activities, but rather a cultural practice. In some traditions, people light incense at graveyards as a means of warding off negative energy or paying respects to the departed. Let's hope that this explanation holds true and that the smoke is indeed the product of a benign ritual rather than something more sinister. Someone in the original post also made this comment. The thing here is, none of my team members can understand or translate, so we can't confirm or disprove this. If you can, we'd like to hear from you.
Вот еврейское кладбище в Дербенте. А вот это сразу загорелось.
While on a boat ride in Costa Rica, a woman captured something extraordinary.
Bro, look at that. It's a whole head paddling out the water. That shit is crazy. It's like...
In the distance, she saw what appeared to be a giant head with half of its face submerged under the water. Naturally, this has sparked a lot of interest and speculation online. One commenter suggested that this could be a case of pareidolia, a phenomenon where the mind perceives familiar patterns like faces in random stimuli. This explanation might make sense, as natural formulations or reflections in the water can sometimes create illusions that look remarkably like human features. However, others believe this might be evidence of something more mysterious, perhaps even connected to the legends of giants. I have much to say about this, but perhaps in a separate video dedicated to giants. In the meantime, don't hold back on sharing your thoughts.
Bro, look at that. It's a whole head paddling out the water. That shit is crazy. It's like...
Next, we have another pair of Bigfoot enthusiasts who set out one night into the well-known Bigfoot hotspots. Given the time that they were going out of their exploration, they brought a heat sensor along. There was no way Bigfoot was going to escape their sight. And surely enough, while they were out there, they caught a heat signature on their device. Soon after, they noticed a pair of glowing eyes in the distance, seemingly stalking them from afar. The enthusiasts firmly believed that those bright eyes belonged to a Bigfoot. Unfortunately, the creature fled before they could get good footage, leaving them with just the image of the glowing eyes. But what do you think? Could that really have been a Bigfoot, or is it something else entirely? Share your thoughts. Australia never fails to surprise with its abundance of unique wildlife, and a recent video captured at Bali Point is a testament to that. In the footage, a kangaroo was spotted taking an unexpected dip in the ocean, venturing out for a swim amidst the rolling waves. This sight may have seemed out of the ordinary for those accustomed to seeing kangaroos hopping across dry landscapes. While kangaroos are not typically associated with swimming, they are known to enter water bodies to cool off or escape predators when necessary. So basically, they can swim, but that doesn't explain the behavior in this clip. That got me thinking and researching. It turns out that kangaroos can actually lure predators into water bodies and drown them if they follow them in. Sounds dark, I know, but that's mama nature for you. The big question now is that what this kangaroo was trying to do? Have you ever heard of the bleeding tree? This phenomenon has been observed in various parts of the world where people cut into trees and instead of the usual white or clear sap, a crimson fluid gushes out, resembling a murder scene. In some cultures, these bleeding trees are considered omens or spiritual signs of doom. After consulting with Julius, our resident science whiz, I learned a few things. The bloodwood tree, native to Australia and belonging to the genus Corymbia, is notable for its distinctive red sap. This resembles blood and seeps from the tree when the bark is damaged. The sap has traditional uses in indigenous medicine for its antiseptic properties, treating wounds and infections. Bloodwood trees are hardy, often thriving in poor soils and arid conditions, and they can grow up to 20 meters tall. The wood is dense and durable, making it valuable for construction and crafting. Additionally, the tree's flowers provide nectar that's essential for many native Australian animals, including birds and insects. So while this looks creepy and seems like something we should avoid, it turns out it has a lot of great uses. The true definition of not everything is what it seems, or never judge a book by its cover, or in this case, a tree by its sap. The next one is this perplexing clip that has surfaced online, showcasing a woman defying gravity as she stands upside down on the side of a building.
She's tweaking right now, real talk. I don't know what she's doing, but she got a lot in her mind, bro. It's weighing her down, real talk. God damn.
The footage has left viewers baffled, pondering the possibility of such a feat in the realm of physics. Upon closer inspection, however, it becomes evident that this display is not merely a physical marvel, but rather a product of digital manipulation. While the illusion is strikingly convincing, our in-house video editor believes this is more likely the result of advanced editing techniques rather than a demonstration of supernatural abilities.
She's tweaking right now, real talk. I don't know what she's doing, but she got a lot in her mind, bro. It's weighing her down, real talk. God damn.
This man was holding a pale-faced mask with dark circles around haunting eyes and black lips. He had a face filter on, and as soon as he smiled, the mask also appeared to smile, giving it a terrifying expression. Just look at how freaked out the man is. Despite how terrifying it looks, many people are not convinced that this is real. It seemed that the face filter picked up the mask, which is why it appeared to smile. Technology can sometimes create eerie and unexpected results, adding a touch of the supernatural to our everyday lives. What do you think of this, and what would you have done if you saw a mask smile like that? So, I've seen a lot of strange bird behaviors in my day, but never have I seen this. Believe it or not, that's a woodpecker, and it appears to be frozen in motion. Why? I wasn't exactly sure, and the comments section of the original post was crazy. Take a look at this comment. While this was funny, it didn't solve the mystery, so being the researcher I am, I had to do some research, and boy was it worth it. It turns out that there are woodpecker species that freeze whenever they're threatened. They can remain motionless against the trunk of a tree and will not return to normal activities for up to 10 minutes. It's possible that the woodpecker noticed the man and froze out of fear. Well, that's the only working hypothesis I have right now. Also, I felt this might be a downy woodpecker, but another person in my team states it looks like the lesser spotted woodpecker. I can't say for sure which it is, but the woodpecker experts here can help us. Either way, I'm glad I saw this clip because I learned something new. What about you? Now let's take a look at a very controversial subject. We all know that Joe Biden is the President of the United States. However, recently, there have been things about the president that don't quite add up. In the video, a man is standing on a stage with other dignitaries behind him, including the president. The man turns his back and shakes everyone's hand, but something unusual happens. The president goes in for another handshake, but the man does not respond, leaving him looking confused. Many people are saying that President Biden might have dementia, which could explain his behavior in this instance. Some also think he's a clone that's not exactly normal. What do you guys think? A subscriber sent this in, and it's quite intriguing. They discovered a strange giant footprint in Hawaii at a place called Koala Ranch. Yes, those are allegedly actual footprints, and they belong to something large and ginormous. It has 3 distinctive claws. The fact that it's ginormous and has 3 toes has brought to mind everyone's favorite reptile, Godzilla. Is this real? Well, if you were to ask me, I'd say no, but there are some who believe it is. I'm not the only skeptic out there, however. Someone even stated that this had to have been taken from the set of Godzilla in 1998. What do you guys think? A group of fishermen were out on a boat near Zlobin, Belarus, when they noticed something unusual. There was a swarm of insects on the water's surface. To prove just how bad this was, they took off their caps and held them just over the water as the boat moved. When they showed the caps to the camera, they were filled with a thick cluster of insects. According to them, residents of the area have also been complaining about how insects have invaded their bus stations and playgrounds. This sudden surge of mosquitoes raises the question, what could be breeding these creatures in such large numbers? No one had answers, at least according to the one who made the post. One commenter, however, suggested that it might be mosquito season, as it is in the US and Canada, which could explain the increase. Others thought he was making a fuss over nothing, since it's not unusual to find bugs over lakes. But what do you think? Could there be other factors at play, or is it just a seasonal occurrence? On October the 8th, during a lively pumpkin festival, crowds gathered to witness a spectacular event, the drop of a giant pumpkin from 100 feet above ground into a pool of water. Amidst the excitement, someone captured something extraordinary on camera. As the massive pumpkin crashes into the water, a peculiar object zips by in the sky. It was a disc-shaped object, prompting the owner of the footage to believe they'd captured a UFO on camera. However, skeptics had other ideas. Some suggested it was merely a bird, though others argued that the object's speed was far too great for a bird. Another commenter proposed that it might have been a drone flying overhead. But what do you think? Could this be an unidentified flying object, or is there a more mundane explanation? I came across an interesting take from a little boy on TikTok. He was asked whether he believes in bad spirits, and his response was quite thought-provoking. Take a look.
Well, kind of. They're not really spirits. So basically when, let's say, like, something happened, the energy of that event will create, like, its own entity. It will start going around the room, and this also happens in space, too. This can happen on any planet. This is not only for Earth, this can happen on any planet. So when something bad happens, the energy from it will start circulating, and then it will start creating an orb, and then the orb becomes an entity, and then it starts learning from the thing. But then, since it's a low vibration, then that's basically why haunted house are haunted.
So it's energy created from
Trauma.
Trauma?
Yeah, trauma.
Okay, so when something really bad happens, that energy creates an orb energy, which creates almost as if it's an identity?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then it thinks it is.
It does?
But the energy is the only thing that's living, but it's not really living at the same time.
The bad energy, the negative spirits, are what is caused by human energy?
Yes. And not just human, like this happens on any planet. Like, it's not just for humans. Humans are not the main species. They're not the main alien species.
Wow, that is such an interesting perspective.
Just remember that for every question we do. So, what would you guys want me to answer next?
Did you hear that? He explained that when something bad happens, it creates negative energy like an orb. This orb then becomes an entity that lingers around the place where the incident occurred. According to him, this is why there are haunted houses and places the bad energy from the trauma creates an entity. It's such an odd take, but when you think about it, it makes sense. The idea that negative experiences can leave behind residual energy is a concept many people find intriguing. But how did a child come up with such an insightful explanation? It's mind-blowing. What do you think about this theory? Could bad events really create lingering entities? Share your thoughts. Here, someone shares a series of mysterious tracks that look like bare human-like feet molded in dried mud close to a pond. Remarkably, the foot's girth was a staggering 42 inches. These kinds of sightings are often attributed to the legendary Bigfoot. Given the sheer size of the prints, if they were made by a human, it would have to be an extraordinarily large individual. The depth and clarity of the impressions suggest that whatever made them was incredibly heavy, further adding to the intrigue. Many locals are convinced that these tracks are definitive evidence of Bigfoot, a creature of folklore that has captivated imaginations for generations. However, skeptics continue to argue that it could be a clever hoax or the result of natural phenomena. The size and shape of the prints, though, continue to baffle and fascinate everyone who sees them. What do you make of these colossal footprints? Could this be the elusive Bigfoot, or is there a more mundane explanation? Despite the numerous conspiracy theories suggesting that Antarctica is home to secret bases, it's important to remember that people do live and work there. This footage was taken from one of the living facilities on the continent, offering a rare glimpse into daily life in such an extreme environment. As the person walks us through the facility, we approach the entryway, and you could see that the walls and door are thickly coated with snow. Now watch what happens when the woman opens the door. Instantly, we're met with the ferocity of an Antarctic condition, one severe storm.
This is the entryway to our dorm. Normally this has carpet on the ground and the walls are just normally walls, you know. But we're going to open the door right now. It's a little bit like opening up the door to another world. Are you ready?
The wind howls furiously and the air is filled with swirling snow. This type of storm is incredibly dangerous, with temperatures plunging below minus 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Exposure for even a few seconds could be fatal. The harsh reality of life in Antarctica is vividly displayed here, reminding us of the extreme conditions faced by those who live and work on this icy continent. What do you think about the living conditions in Antarctica? Could you handle such an environment?
Video is just shocking. Imagine driving on the freeway going 60 to 70 miles per hour.
On the 110 freeway near downtown Los Angeles, a disturbing incident was captured on camera. This homeless man was seen throwing rocks and stones onto the road, causing chaos for drivers. As a result, a motorcyclist lost control and slid off the road. Sparks flew from the motorcycle as it scraped along the tarred road. Fortunately, the rider was not seriously injured and managed to stand up. But that wasn't the end of the trouble. Several cars were also affected, with some experiencing flat tires. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt. Oddly enough, the homeless man responsible for the incident was not found, and there has been no official word on the matter so far. This is such a strange situation. What do you think should be done to prevent incidents like this in the future? Most of the time, we say we're scared of ghosts, creatures, and cryptids, but we often forget that sometimes humans can be more terrifying than any other predator out there. In this chilling footage, a woman is seen opening her apartment door as the lights flicker. She looks up at the security camera above, perhaps sensing something amiss. As she opens the door, we see she has a young girl with her. They're just about to enter when suddenly a man rushes in, dragging the woman inside. Moments later, he comes back out and drags the child inside too. The video leaves us in suspense as we don't know what happened to them. At the end, you can see the woman's legs showing at the edge of the door, a haunting image that hints at something dangerous. Be safe out there. Humans can be the most dangerous creatures of all. Watch this footage. Did you catch the deer running past the trail cam? Did you notice anything else? Take another look at the footage. You saw it, didn't you? There was a floating orb just above the deer. It moved with the same speed as the doe and in the same direction, almost as though it was chasing it. While some might dismiss the orb as a camera artifact, our longtime subscribers know that orbs often indicate supernatural activity. The sender of this clip believes it's a ghost. I do see the moving object, but I'm not inclined to make the ghostly association with this particular clip. What about you? If this was not caught on trail cam footage, no one would have believed it. We travel back in time to the year 2008 in Montauk, Long Island, New York. Have a look. There's no way that creature is normal. It appears to have a beak like a bird does and a furless body with the features of that of a dog, and its size also matching that of a dog's. The uploaders stated they found this at the beach, and everyone who saw this in 2008 believed it was real. Looking at it in 2023, well, not so much. Even the flawed yet impressive AI tools of this year can generate more photorealistic images than this. I'm starting to believe the uploaders did this for clout, and boy, did they get some. Their post went everywhere, including newspapers. Did you hear about it then? What did you think about it when you heard it? Tell us in the comments section. Next, we have footage that presents us with a vast expanse of land covered in grass. However, as we examine the scene more closely, we notice something intriguing, if you could call it that. Towards the darker area of the landscape where the illumination is limited, two bright red lights stand out. They don't just look like small dots or lights, they look like eyes belonging to a large creature. Speculation often arises when such mysterious sightings occur, and it's not uncommon for people to associate this with another potential Bigfoot sighting. However, let's consider other possibilities. While many in the paranormal community subscribe to the idea that it's indeed a Bigfoot, when you pay attention to the footage, you see a small animal moving toward the right side of captured footage. The creature is in no rush and moves as though it has all the time in the world. If there was indeed a large creature with glowing eyes, trust me, that small animal would have been running for its life. How then do we explain the glowing eyes in the footage? CGI, AI, VFX? Whichever one fits the bill. The footage is most definitely doctored, and I'd like to believe it was done for clout. I mean, they almost had us too, until we noticed the small moving animal. What do you think of the whole thing? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. If you thought that was bizarre, then I wonder what you will make of this next one. In fact, why don't I just show you? I know it's rhetorical, but I still have to ask, what do you see in this capture? I don't know about you, but there's a striking resemblance between whatever that is and James P. Sullivan from Disney's Monster, Inc. You can't unsee it now, can you? Either way, what creature do you think you see in the capture? The one who sent it in believes it's a Sasquatch. Taking a second look at it, I kinda understand why the person may have said this, but it just doesn't cut it for me. The supposed capture doesn't look the littlest bit real, although you have to admit it's a cool-looking cryptid. If you were to ask me, though, I'd say that this is nothing more than an AI creation. It's just too obvious when I look at it. What about you? Would a bear attack a trail camera? Before you answer, watch this. While I know it looks like the bear was attacking the trail camera, what if I told you that it wasn't? If you pay attention to the video, you'd realize that the bear was going through some container until it abruptly stopped and then bolted out of the place. Putting on our Sherlock Holmes hats, we can deduce that the bear was probably going through those containers in search for food. Perhaps the containers were storing food items and the bear was simply drawn there by its scent. It might have heard people in the process and then tried to leave. Yes, keep applauding. I know I have decoded the scene, but what do you do when you live in a bear country and need to store food items outside? Well, you use a bear box. If you're wondering what that is, it's a metal container designed to store food and scented items in bear countries with the means of preventing the bears from accessing its contents and reducing the risk of human-bear conflicts. You can imagine what could have happened if the bear decided to go after the humans that disturbed it. It could have been tragic. If you're watching this video and live in a bear country and do not own one, you better pause the video, order yourself one, and then come back to it. I'm watching you. If you own one, just write "own one" in the comments section. If you ordered, just write "ordered one" in the comments section. I will be watching. Yes, you're seeing it right. A humanoid creature with a head that's a mix of a kangaroo or maybe a dog. It also appears to be going after whoever is holding the camera we see in the shot. While we've showcased weird and disturbing footage on this channel before, nothing compares to what we have in store today. Despite the uploader's silence, it's evidence from the capture that this creature gave the cameraman and crew the scare of a lifetime. Now, let's talk about the creature in question. Does it remind you of any cryptids? If you thought of the Dogman, you're on the right track. However, unlike Bigfoot and other cryptids, information about the Dogman is scarce. This makes it difficult to tell if it's truly the Dogman or some unknown kind of cryptid. There's, however, a third possibility, that the whole thing is a fake and the uploader is peddling us nothing but lies. But what do you think, though? Tell us in the comments section, as we'd really love to hear them. In the footage, we see a house that's situated in an isolated part of an estate in Scotland. The footage was taken by tourists who were feeling brave and decided that an abandoned house in an abandoned part of town would be a fun place to hang out. In the footage, we see the tourists walking along and recording an eerie-looking house. They aren't bothered because it's supposed to be an abandoned house. That was at least the case until they saw movement in the house. They focus on the window with the movement, and sure enough, someone's there. Not the kind you'd expect, but they're there. The person looks out of the window and they see her or it because it has pale white skin as if it has been dead. It has dark patches around its eyes and maybe a horn. It's hard to say because whatever it is retreats as soon as it realizes it's been discovered. Instead of running from the building, these tourists run toward it, and I can't help but wonder why. But what do you think of the whole ordeal? Tell us in the comments section. We start off today's footage with a very strange and weird one. Have a look. It's hard to tell what exactly we are looking at, but there's no denying that whatever that is, it looks like what a kangaroo would look like if it had an interest in photography and is capable of smiling. The footage was clearly captured at night in a very dark environment. This makes it hard to discern what lies beyond the camera's immediate area of focus. Despite the uncertainties associated with the image, it's evident that the creature is humanoid. Could it be a previously undiscovered cryptid, or is that merely a normal kangaroo standing in front of a trail camera? Could the odd nature of the image be the result of bad lighting when the image was taken? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Everything they say rises and falls with leadership, and looking at our next footage, I must say I believe it. In the footage, we see a pack of wolves seemingly going about their normal, everyday business when the one leading the pack suddenly stops and alerts them to danger, asking them to move. Given the fact that she stared in the direction of the camera, the uploader believes she noticed the unfamiliar artifact in their environment and doubted it was safe. See how she gets the rest of the pack to scatter and leave, with the exception of that last one who comes back to see if there was really any danger at all. I guess there's always going to be that odd, weird one, even in the animal kingdom. But we've been wondering, how did she detect the camera? Could it be because of the scent, or does the Trailcam act in a way that allows wolves to detect them? Could the experienced ones help us with an explanation? We'd be reading the comments to see, as we really want to know. Now for our next capture, you might want to brace yourself because it doesn't look pretty. Before you ask the question, allow me to answer. Yes, that's a deer, and yes, those are growths or warts around its neck. As disturbing as the image is, that's not uncommon for deer in the wild. These growths are known as fibroma or skin tags, and they result from various factors including genetics, insect bites, parasites, and poor nutrition, among others. Despite their appearance, these growths don't pose a significant threat to the deer, although larger ones might cause discomfort for the animal. That doesn't mean to run and apply ointments if you see a deer with one. What you should do is alert local authorities. Local authorities are best equipped to provide assistance. Until then, all we can do is hope and pray that the deer receives the necessary help. This camera footage was taken from the entrance of a home where an eerie creature comes into view. Taking a critical look at the creature, it has a head shaped like a light bulb and glowing red eyes. It appears to be maintaining balance with two strong arms by its side. It repeatedly comes into view and then retreats into the darkness. It's hard to say if it's afraid or luring its next and potential victim. What could this be, and where could it have popped out from? Is it a possessed doll acting as the landlord of the house when the owners are not present? An evil spirit that has attached itself to the house, perhaps? Many think it's a rake, but I call it fake. I know I rhymed there, but well, that's the game. Maybe I should stop before you call me out for lame dad jokes, but either way, what do you make of it? Still on shadows, take a look at this next one. This footage was taken from a dash cam on a vehicle late at night. The uploader of the footage felt something cross his vehicle whilst driving at night. Although it scared him, he assumed it might be a deer or some other form of animal, as they are notorious for such activities on the particular highway he was on. He got home, however, reviewed the footage, and realized that it was no deer. In fact, it was no live animal at all. It was simply a shadow moving in front of the vehicle at high speed. He had experts look at it to make sure his camera wasn't misbehaving, and lo and behold, it wasn't. He'd actually captured a shadow creature that took the form of an animal. What was it? Well, we really can't tell, but that only makes the encounter more mysterious. Have you ever had such an encounter? Tell us about it in the comments section. We'd really love to hear it. For our next one, if you have a fear of spiders or arachnophobia, you might want to skip it. Yes, you're seeing right. Those are the legs of a spider and its underbelly or thorax, if I'm not mistaken. Is the spider giant, though? As much as I'd love to say yes, it's not. It's a normal-sized spider moving on top of the Trailcam. We've encountered numerous instances of this, which led me to wonder if Trailcams have something that attracts spiders, but it turns out they don't. Trailcam setups can, however, become hot zones for insects, and as we know, spiders love their insects, which is likely why we often see them hanging around Trailcams. But what do you think? We've had cryptids that look like apes, and then some that look like goats, and even dogs, but have you heard of any that look like rabbits? Whatever your answer was, you might want to see this. Yup, that's an actual humanoid with a rabbit head. Yes, an actual humanoid-looking rabbit. We haven't encountered anything like this in all the years of exploring the paranormal. Some members of the team say it looks more like a wolf or fox, and as much as I can see where they're coming from, I stubbornly stick to the rabbit looks. Despite our different stances on what this might be, we all wanted this to be legit. But the more we looked at the picture, the more disappointed we became. In the end, we had to come to terms with the reality. It's a photo of a man in a costume and nothing more. We've no idea if the individual was trying to trick the owner of the Trailcam into believing it was paranormal or if it was accidentally captured by the Trailcam. But assuming this was your trail camera and assuming this was real, how would you have reacted? Tell us in the comments section. Next, we have another one of those forest captures that is sure to leave you questioning everything you know and have accepted about this world. Have a look. The footage you see on your screen currently was captured by a man who was going through the woods on a beautiful sunny day. He was having one of those days when you can't shake the feeling that something otherworldly is lurking nearby, if you know what I mean. He could never shake off the feeling, and he understood once he got to the location he shot the footage you see on your screen. If you pay close attention, you'll notice that there's a dark figure in the center of the footage. Although it's not very clear, the uploader states that there was a tall ape-like beast or creature going on about its business there. Even though the creature hadn't noticed him and he was at a distance, its presence still filled him with fear. The fear he felt the moment he noticed the creature was, however, nothing compared to what he felt when the creature finally stood on its feet. At that moment, he realized that it was larger than he had already anticipated. At that moment, he felt the creature had noticed him, but it paid no attention and walked further into the woods, disappearing from sight. It's hard to authenticate the footage due to its blurry nature from being overly zoomed in. But what do you make of the footage? Do you think this is real? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Next, we see an image I never expected to see on the internet. The image you see on your screen was taken from an old slave plantation. In the capture, we see what appears to be a small house in the middle of nowhere. That's not the weird thing, as we see such houses all the time. The strange thing about the capture is the fact that we see what appears to be a ghostly figure in shackles within the building. The being has a whitish skin, and that's as far as it goes. But why would someone put themselves in shackles in an abandoned building somewhere? The law here is they did not. Instead, it's believed that what you are actually seeing is the soul of one of the previous slaves who had been held in the facility. As weird and as wild as that might seem, that's the accepted truth. You might be wondering, is that even possible? Well, the evidence of its existence is what you see in the capture, unless, of course, the whole thing is false. Next, we have this beautiful capture that brought tears to my eyes. And yes, that's an exaggeration, but the beauty of the picture isn't. Have a look. That's a beautiful doe moving through the water. Whoever placed this trail cam where it's positioned definitely knew what they were doing. It's not every day you see a beautiful capture. For those who didn't know, deers are impressive swimmers. They got great legs. Wait, did I say great? I meant strong legs with a natural buoyancy that allows them to float. Yeah, despite their skill, their body allows them to stay afloat. If they had webbed feet, we'd definitely call them water animals. Either way, that's a great capture. I have a question though. Do you think the water is splashing in the right direction, or am I simply trying to see things that aren't there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. For this next one, well, I don't even have words for it. Perhaps I should just show you. This thing looks like a man-sized bug with the features of so many other creatures. I mean, I can see some bird-like features, some pointy ears, limbs that look like tentacles, among other features that look borrowed from other animals. According to the one whose trail camera apparently took the picture, it's a mystical creature that's haunted that side of the woods where his trail camera was planted. As much as I love the paranormal as the next guy, this has false written all over it. I mean, how? The image is likely AI generated and edited to catch us off guard, but I'm not buying it. It looks like the least real thing we've had on this channel, but what do you think though? Do you believe that this is very real, or am I just too blinded by logic to see it? Tell me in the comments section, as I'd really love to know. While on a boat ride, a shark came sniffing around the boat. Now, I'm no marine biologist, but this shark seemed more like your nosy neighbor than a hungry predator. The person on the boat stays still while filming the dangerous creature. It swarmed around the boat, and at a point it attempted to bite at it, but thankfully gave up. Watching this, I couldn't help but wonder if the shark was either in need of a snack or perhaps had mistaken the boat for something else entirely. The shark eventually moved on, leaving the observer to ponder the unpredictability of these creatures. Maybe it was just an off day for the shark, or perhaps it had different plans than being a fearsome predator. Nature's surprising, isn't she? Thankfully, this surprise was the pleasant kind. While walking through the woods, someone came across a strange tiny creature lying on the floor. Not knowing what it was, they took a picture and shared it online. Now check it out for yourself. It looks like a seed germinating, but here's the interesting part. It has what seems like a big head and a small face, and you can even make out what looks like a body with tiny arms and legs. Quite the curious creature, wouldn't you agree? Some of my team members argue that the creature looks like an extraterrestrial due to its alien-like appearance. What do you think, though? Could this truly be a resident from another world? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Still on canine creatures, we move to southern Texas for our next clip. Have a look. The creature you see on your screen was captured by a couple while they were out exploring the woods. While we're unsure of how they managed to catch it, one thing is certain. When they captured the creature, they found it far from normal looking. They compared it to all the local species of small animals in the neighborhood, but the creature was just too different from all of them. Even the local dogs in the area. Being believers in the paranormal, they started to believe that they may have actually caught the legendary chupacabra. As we watch the footage, it's easy to see why they might have thought that. The creature looks like a mangy dog, and many descriptions of the chupacabra mention a hairless canine creature that drinks blood and fluids from its animal victims. While the animal fits the bill, it does seem a bit small for that description. Beyond that, it doesn't look like that thing consumes blood, as it was being fed powdery feed, which I'm pretty sure it consumed. But if it's not a chupacabra, what then is it? Or am I the one being too bad a skeptic? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Still on animals detecting things you wouldn't expect them to, we have this interesting trail cam footage. Watch. In the footage, we see two deer grazing. One of the two, however, is jittery and keeps looking around as though it were expecting a predator or felt something that was not right. I was tempted to think it might be normal behavior. That was, at least until I noticed the translucent thing that moved across the screen right when it turned. What was that strange thing? Is it a paranormal entity? Did that deer just notice a paranormal being? Does that mean animals are capable of detecting beings beyond our plane? Or is this video cleverly edited to make it look that way? So many questions, yet no answers. Tell us, what do you think? We'd really love to know. If you love black cats, I'm certain this security footage will have you thinking twice about them. Follow the black cat closely. It appears from the other side of the road and walks nonchalantly. People are walking by, but no one seems to pay attention to it. It passes through the space in the rails and walks to the corner of the building, where there is what looks like rubbish on the ground. The cat lingers by the rubbish until suddenly the debris catches fire, seemingly by some mystical force. Without any apparent concern, the feline then nonchalantly walks away, leaving behind the mysterious incident. Did this cat just magically set things ablaze? Some cultures think black cats are evil. While I have never understood and accepted that way of thinking, clips like this make me think that perhaps I might be wrong. What do you think? Here's a peculiar tale from the animal shelter. So this person strolls in all set to adopt a furry friend. Normal, right? But hold on, because what they found wasn't your typical doggy pal. Look at this little guy. At first glance, he's all cute and cuddly, your usual shelter pup. But there's something off about that face. It's got a certain peculiar twist that makes you wonder, is that a skinwalker in doggy disguise? Now, we're not saying this pup has supernatural secrets, but hey, it does make you do a double take. Who knows, maybe it's just a quirky dog with an unconventional charm. Next, we have another bizarre capture from Lancaster County. Unlike the previous one, however, this is a video and it showcases something that looks more like a mutation than it does a cryptid. Yes, what you are seeing is very real. And yes, that's an actual deer with 2 noses. A park ranger discovered this unusual footage on a trail cam set up to capture local wildlife. The trail cam had been successful capturing intriguing videos, and he was anticipating more. What he didn't expect, though, was the confusion upon first sight of this footage. It was mostly because he didn't know what he was looking at. The deer's face appears oddly shaped with 2 additional openings. It took him a while, but he soon realized that these weren't openings, they looked like additional noses. The sight was truly bizarre and marked the first time such an occurrence had been captured on video. The ranger was highly convinced he was dealing with a mutated deer, but some experts who reviewed the case believe it could have resulted from injury. What do you think? While the previous footage may not have exactly scared you out of your chair, this next one might do the trick. Watch. The footage starts off with a man driving what looks like a quad bike through the woods. It turns out the trail he's on is designated for ATVs, considered safe for off-road vehicles, quad bikes, dirt bikes, and similar vehicles. But what is it, though? Well, the writer found out the hard way it was not. Suddenly, his ride was interrupted by a wire fixed at neck height. Luckily for him, he had his helmet on, and that's what made contact with the wire. Given the speed at which he was riding, it pushed his head back with great force. But what if he was not wearing a helmet? What if it had made contact with his neck? What if he was on an actual bike? Would he have survived? I don't think so. But who would set up a wire on such a track? Why, and who was the target? Was it an attempt at murder or something meant to create a freak accident? I don't know about you, but if I were him, I would definitely not trust that track again or any track in that area whatsoever. Now, what do we have here? Is it a tree shaped like a person lying face upwards on the ground? I don't know about you, but this looks very disturbing to me. Now, trees are known for their adaptability, but this one takes the cake. In certain cultures, you'd find beliefs that tie into the idea of people turning into trees. It's almost like a punishment for their wrongdoings. Looking at this, I'm tempted to believe that those beliefs are not merely myths after all. Imagine a person was transformed into this tree as a form of cosmic justice. You know what? Don't. I can't imagine someone going through that. What's more, it might just be an odd tree formation. Perhaps I'm reading more meaning into it than I ought to. All right, hold the phone. So there's this beach footage that's causing a bit of a stir. People are hanging out, enjoying the sand and surf, when suddenly these small mysterious white things start popping out of the beach sand. And here's the kicker. Within seconds, it looks like they've multiplied into hundreds, carpeting the beach floor. Now, the big question is, what on earth could these little things be? It's like a tiny invasion of the sand kind. Are there some undiscovered marine life making a surprise appearance, or could we be dealing with some alien beach creatures? This next trail camera sends us back into the realm of the paranormal. I don't know what to make of whatever is captured in the trail cam footage. It looks like some form of humanoid cryptid, but which? It's hard to say. Its body looks like a blend of feline and human characteristics. As far as we are concerned, there's no paranormal being that suits the description. Let's take a closer look at the footage. Doing so, you quickly realize that the being looks like a 3D creation compared to the rest of the natural world. This is an obvious flaw associated with CGI creations, especially those from a few years ago. That makes it difficult to take this footage seriously. It's definitely fake, but why do something like this? For 5 minutes of fame to mislead the paranormal community? Come on, that's not very nice. Next is another image we're trying so hard to wrap our heads around. You know what? Just take a look for yourselves. Yeah, that was apparently captured on a trail cam set up in the woods. The owner of the trail cam initially thought his friends were pranking him, but after checking with everyone, he realized they knew nothing about it. So then, what is this thing? We can't say for certain. It seems to have a human body with a head resembling some pig-like creature. Imagining such a creature brings to mind Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this is happening in real life. Critically looking at the image once more, a part of me wants to believe that this is nothing more than a man in a mask. I know I sound like the paranormal critic today, but, well, look at it. What other explanation could there be for this? Speaking of unfinished business, this footage was taken in the ER. In the clip, a worker at the hospital hears some unusual sounds coming from an empty room in the ER. As they investigate, they stumble upon something quite baffling. The ceiling above one of the beds in the room had unexpectedly opened, and what's more, there was no wind in the room, yet the open ceiling was moving and producing eerie noises. Is it possible that what's happening is the ghostly appearance of a patient who, for reasons we don't understand, is seeking recognition or resolution beyond the boundaries of the living world? It's a well-known fact that a hospital is a place where lots of deaths have happened, so it's not a surprise that strange situations happen there. Night shifts, in particular, have become the backdrop for many stories involving strange events narrated by nurses who have witnessed the unexplained. While strange, this is just one of the many strange occurrences that happen in hospitals around the world. Any health worker here to share an experience?
No tanto. Ahí va. Vamos a ver. Viene arriba de nosotros.
In the tranquil setting of a Mexican evening, an extraordinary event unfolded, captivating the attention of curious bystanders. A glowing orb was seen ascending into the sky. What made this event interesting was how the object acted as it ascended. At first, when the orb moved away from the earth, it looked bigger and brighter, almost as though the distance made it shine more. As it got closer to the sky, it started getting smaller and its brightness faded into a soft glow, which was expected. But then, the unexpected happened. Instead of eventually fading away and disappearing, the orb rather grew bigger. It's strange enough that no one knows what it is or how it came to be. Seeing it behave this way just adds to the mystery surrounding it. What do you think? Could it be an alien, or do you have a more logical explanation?
Otra vez vuelve a brillar.
We all know that Russians are built differently, but what about their animals? Turns out they're built differently too. Watch this next one. And yes, that's a bear trying to climb a ladder. You don't need to be a genius to know that a bear is trying to climb that ladder to get to the man filming. From the footage, we can see the bear climbing up toward the man who keeps talking or vocalizing, and eventually the bear climbs back down. He's in the clear then, right? Well, no. The bear decides that if it can't climb up to the man, it would bring the man down to it. It starts pulling on the base of the ladder, most likely with hopes of pulling the man down to him. We see it attempt to pull the ladder several times, but unfortunately the video ends before we can witness the outcome. Given the fact that the video was uploaded online, I'd like to believe that the man made it out. What about you? Next, we have Trailcam capture from an individual who seems to really have captured something bizarre. He claims it's a dog man, but let's judge that claim for ourselves. Did you see the creature he was referring to, or did the footage simply leave you confused? In the footage, we see what appears to be the outdoors with a lot of grass and some items there. Might be the backyard of someone's home, but it's hard to say. The individual recording the footage, however, is seemingly perplexed and, I dare say, even scared. He points the camera in the direction of whatever is giving him the scares, but his shaky hands make it hard to see. We slowed down the footage in an attempt to catch what the whole thing was about, and guess what we saw. There is a creature with dark fur in the slowed down footage. It stares at the man and then stares away, remaining perfectly still. It's almost as though it was trying its best to avoid being seen. Is it a dog man, though? Personally, I don't think so. It might be a man in a suit or a different kind of cryptid. What do you think? A group of friends were out for drinks when they noticed one friend getting a bit too drunk. Amused by her laughter, they decided to film her antics for some later laughs. Little did they know things were about to take a chilling turn. As they captured her laughter on camera, the woman suddenly froze, sending a wave of concern through her friends. They called out to her, but she remained unresponsive for a while until she eventually snapped out of it. You can see how confused she was when she came back. Her friends later asked her what had happened, and she was shy about behaving that way, and her response would shock you. She said she felt like she was possessed. However, some netizens believe that this is a typical situation of a glitch in the Matrix. Some skeptics, on the other hand, say it was a neurological episode. It's quite a bizarre and unsettling moment, leaving everyone involved shaken by the unexpected and eerie incident. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. Heading to Medellin, Colombia, our attention is drawn to an unusual sighting in the sky that has left a family perplexed. A peculiar craft resembling a saucer captured their gaze. What makes this sighting even more intriguing is the presence of a red glowing orb situated beneath the craft. As the video spreads, discussions about the source of this celestial visitor heat up. Some dive into intergalactic mysteries, entertaining the idea that we might not be alone. Others consider the possibility of advanced technologies not yet revealed to the public, gliding through the skies over Medellin. Both of these sound absurd. Given the nature of our world today, I wouldn't rule anything out. What do you think? A man who had set up his trail cam overnight to capture wildlife went to review the footage his cam had captured and was greeted with a capture that had humans instead of animals. Take a look. The footage starts off with two men walking into the woods, after which they are joined by a third. These men look like they mean business given how they're moving with purpose and seriousness. The flash lamps they carry in their hands give off the vibe that they may be searching for something, but what exactly? This is where it gets interesting. We don't have to wait too long for our answer because within a few minutes they return from the woods dragging along a younger male. The first question that came to mind was, are they kidnapping him? I mean, you can never be too sure of late, right? The truth, however, turns out to be less sinister than that. The young man we see in the footage got drunk and went into the woods where he got lost. These men simply went out to look for him, and fortunately, they found him. They basically saved his life, and it was captured on tape. Interesting, right? Speaking of mysterious captures, take a look at this next one. At first glance, this looks like an ordinary image captured of the woods at night. A second look, however, and you'd notice something weird going on the left side of the screen. Do you see it? It appears to be some form of translucent creature moving within the trees. The poor quality of the image makes it hard to zoom in and discern what it is, because the more you zoom in, the blurrier the image gets. We're not particularly fond of blurry images because they often invite skepticism unless the circumstances surrounding them make a strong case for their blurriness. So we throw this one at you. What do you think you were seeing? Is this whole image even real or simply a hoax meant to throw us off? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. So there's this photo, right? A bluish glowing orb, and the story goes that someone's dad snapped the picture. Now, it's not your typical lens glare scenario because it's chilling behind a tree, and beyond that tree, a good old cornfield. Looking at the close-up, it's got you scratching your head. Not your usual camera mishap or a reflection gone wild. This orb seems to have a mind of its own, playing hide-and-seek behind nature's greenery. Any thoughts on what this mysterious glowing sphere could be? It's got the intrigue of a sci-fi plot, but maybe there's a rational explanation waiting to be unveiled. What's your take on this luminous enigma behind the cornfield curtain? Let's delve into another mysterious incident. In a misty forest, someone captured a mysterious scene. While the creature is mostly hidden, we can still make out a silhouette. It appears to belong to a massive creature with wings surrounded by thick fog. What do you think this could be? I'm no avian expert, but I don't think there are many birds, or any birds for that matter, that look like this. Some who saw the footage, however, insist it's just a large bird. There is a small sect of individuals who believe we could be dealing with a dragon here. Dragons are mythical creatures, but if a cat can light a fire, then why can't we have a dragon out there? What do you guys also think this could be? Drop your suggestions in the comments section below. Trail cameras have been very effective in capturing candid moments in the wildlife. However, a Trailcam owner was shocked when she retrieved her device, and instead of animals, she was met with this. In the photo, you've got two women in the buff crouched down in the middle of the forest, totally absorbed in some mysterious thing on the ground. When you zoom in, you'll notice that there is a dead deer. The scene gets pretty eerie because it looks like these women are up to something unsettling, like they're having a feast on the lifeless deer. The bizarre nature of the scene has sparked speculation and theories. Some folks are throwing around the notion that these might be witches up to some kind of ritual, while others are floating the possibility that these figures could be skinwalkers. You know, those mythical beings from folklore known for transforming into animals and humans. What do you guys make of the situation? Before we move on to the next video, just another reminder. If you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now. I wouldn't want to send that Bigfoot after you. And don't forget to share with your friends and family as well. Thank you very much. The mystery of Bigfoot sightings continues, and this trail camera footage adds another piece to the puzzle. In the photo, the creature is captured in motion, revealing its dark fur and a stance that distinguishes it from known animals like bears or gorillas. The fact that it appears humanoid in posture has long been a hallmark of Bigfoot sightings. While the image provides a tantalizing glimpse, the elusive nature of the creature persists. The dark fur and upright posture align with descriptions commonly associated with Bigfoot encounters. However, the lack of a clear facial view or additional details leaves room for further exploration of these elusive beings. As enthusiasts and skeptics alike scrutinize the image, the quest to unravel the mystery of Bigfoot persists, with each sighting contributing to the enduring allure of this enigmatic and mythical being. Venturing into a swamp under the cloak of night can be an eerie experience, and one brave soul decides to explore the murky unknown. Little did they anticipate what would unfold in the darkness. Out of nowhere, something emerged from the muddy waters. It was a humanoid creature. The creature wobbled as it got out of the mud with its back turned to the explorer filming. The once brave adventurer hightailed it out of there when it noticed the creature emerging from the water. Not so brave now, after all, huh? But what was that in the mud? Could it be a swamp monster or a skinwalker hiding out in the muddy waters? Skeptics think that it's all a hoax, but these days, you may never know. The concern about air pollution is reaching a critical point, and this footage is quite an eye-opener. They're labeling it a toxic cloud, and looking at it, you can't help but be alarmed. These brownish clouds hanging in the air are more than just thicker versions of your typical clouds. Now, the term toxic cloud usually rings an alarm bell for accidental releases of hazardous material, industrial mishaps, or full-on environmental disasters. It's not just a visual problem, but there are real health risks associated with breathing in this murky concoction. We're talking respiratory problems, irritated eyes and skin, a whole menu of health issues depending on what pollutants are in the mix. The fact that people are out there inadvertently inhaling this mess is definitely a cause for concern. It's not just wrong, it's a serious issue that needs attention. Now, this next one is quite an intriguing tale from the heart of the wilderness. In the year 2020, Scott Carpenter, a dedicated Bigfoot researcher, embarked on a camping expedition into the depths of the woods. Little did he know that his journey would lead to a captivating discovery that would fuel the age-old debate surrounding the elusive Bigfoot. In the video, a colossal dog-furred creature emerges behind the tent, casting a towering silhouette against the wilderness. The creature seemed curious about the strange structure in its territory. It pokes the tent with a tree branch and then moves away to stand behind the tree, still looking at the tent. Carpenter was very excited about this encounter and decided to share it. What do you think of this? Under the shroud of night, as this adventurer embarked on a boat journey through the mysterious swamp, an unexpected and eerie symphony captured their attention. In the stillness of the night, the distant tolling of a church bell reverberated through the air, resonating across the expansive forest. What made this occurrence particularly peculiar was the absence of any visible church in the vicinity. The haunting sound, typically associated with places of worship, seemed to emerge from the depths of the darkness itself. The discordance between the natural surroundings of the swamp and the unnatural tolling added an air of mystery to the nocturnal escapade. As the boat gently glided through the swamp's waterways, the enigmatic chiming persisted, leaving us to wonder, is that from a ghost church? It's a mix of fascination and terror when the unknown lurks in the depths of the woods. A person strolling through the trees suddenly notices a pair of glowing eyes fixated on them from the shadows. Intrigued and cautious, they decide to capture the mysterious watcher with their camera. As the lens focuses, a large creature with dark fur comes into view, peering directly at the camera. Concealed within a thicket of trees, it's challenging to discern its features. However, the creature's massive shoulders hint at its substantial size. the face remains mysterious, sparking speculation among onlookers. Some suggest it might be a dogman, a creature of folklore and myth, while others lean toward a more mundane explanation, proposing it could be a lost gorilla roaming the wilderness. What do you think it is? Take a look at this girl. She has a lot of piercings in her mouth and braces. Her mouth almost looks like metal. How does she even eat? Just look at how the bands and contraptions look in her mouth. Doesn't it look scary? Are there plausible explanations? Do any of you know what's going on? Please do share. Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a dragon after you now, would you? During a sunset moment, someone came across a strange spectacle. There seemed to be 3 different lights behind a cloud. Now, scientifically speaking, this phenomenon is known as a sundog or parhelion. It occurs when sunlight is refracted through ice crystals in the atmosphere, creating bright spots on either side of the sun. These spots can sometimes give the illusion of multiple suns, leading to breathtaking and somewhat surreal visuals. Nature has a way of surprising us with its optical illusions, making us pause and marvel at the wonders of the world. Have you ever encountered any other intriguing natural phenomena? Here's another video featuring a dinosaur being hauled out of a truck. Unlike the previous video, this creature is noticeably larger and displays a more aggressive demeanor. However, skepticism arises as people question the authenticity of the footage. Upon closer inspection, the creature's movements and anatomy raise doubts about its legitimacy. Many viewers point out the seemingly artificial quality of its legs, almost resembling a costume rather than a living being. If indeed a hoax, the creators have gone to great lengths to craft a convincing spectacle. While the video may be a cleverly orchestrated fake, it sparks contemplation about the enduring mystery surrounding dinosaurs. The fascination with these ancient creatures persists, and even a fictional representation can captivate our imagination. What are your thoughts on this elaborate dinosaur display? This next clip comes from Argentina, where the clouds had turned pink. Yeah, you heard that right, pink. Just take a look at this. It's almost like some sort of Disney movie. However, amidst the enchantment, a question arises. What mysterious forces could be at play? Are these really clouds, or could there be something more ominous, like unhealthy fumes lingering in the air? One possibility is pollution. Yeah, the not-so-charming side of human activities. Pollutants in the air can interact with sunlight in strange and beautiful ways, creating vibrant hues. On the flip side, nature has a few tricks too. Wildfires, volcanic activity, or even dust storms can spice things up in the atmosphere, turning a regular sky day into a breathtaking spectacle. So what do you think this could be? Pollution or something else entirely? Dolls can be pretty scary when they pull a Chucky on you, but this footage right here is a whole new level. In the footage, there is a pale-headed doll with messy hair. This doll already looks scary, but the rest of its body makes the whole scene very haunting. Its body is made of wood, like the recliner of a wooden chair, and it moves. There is a man even holding the wooden hand as the doll walks. I don't know about you, but everyone I've shown this to has found it very scary. After a lot of digging around, we found out that this was actually made by someone. We can't say who, but I don't think this is the type of doll I would buy and take home with me. What about you? Now, sticking with the Bigfoot vibe, let's step into the world of eerie sounds echoing through the woods. In In this captivating footage, someone catches a unique sound that they're pretty convinced is connected to Bigfoot. The audio captures this loud grunt-like growl that ripples through the whole forest. So here's the big question. Is this really the mysterious Bigfoot doing its communication thing, or could it be the call of some unknown creature? Maybe, just maybe, it's a well-played prank by someone who loves a good mystery. The eerie atmosphere of a school after hours takes a chilling turn in this unsettling footage reminiscent of scenes from the It movie. The diligent custodian enters an empty classroom to tidy up, only to encounter a peculiar and disconcerting sight: a red balloon seemingly out of place among the others scattered across the room. As the custodian goes about his clearing duties, an uncanny occurrence unfolds. The red balloon appears to follow him with an unnerving precision. While the other balloons remain stationary, this solitary red orb exhibits a calculated movement as if possessed by an unseen force. The whole situation feels so strange that it makes you wonder. Is this just a weird accident, some crazy physics thing, or is there something supernatural going on with that balloon? And the fact that it looks like those creepy red balloons from Pennywise, well, just makes it even more unsettling. In China, there's this footage capturing a rather unusual sight. The night sky painted in a deep shade of blood red. I know there are a lot of bizarre ideas and theories running through your mind just from seeing this, but relax. Julius thinks that instead of looking at the paranormal, there could be a more logical reason for what we're seeing. He argues that what we are seeing could be nothing more than the result of the air pollution that China is known for, thanks to it becoming the manufacturing hub of the world's largest corporation. Elevated levels of particulate matter in the air tend to disperse light, particularly during sunrise or sunset, creating an unusual red tint. Yet as we delve into this crimson mystery, the question lingers: is there more to it than just pollution affecting the light? Is this spectral show solely a result of Earth pollutants, or does it suggest something beyond our current comprehension? A man sees a strange beam of light coming from the sky as he is driving. The beam is this vibrant shade of green, and even the point in the sky where it originates is bathed in that mysterious glow. What could this be? Some ponder if it's a clandestine government experiment hidden away from prying eyes. Others go full sci-fi, speculating about an alien base camp, maybe for some intergalactic chat sessions. The secrecy surrounding the sighting location only fuels the flames of suspicion. Is it a deliberate effort to conceal the truth, or perhaps a precautionary measure to prevent undue panic? What do you think this is, though? Share your theories and thoughts in the comments section. There's been quite a buzz surrounding a particular video circling the internet. In this footage, a creature resembling a dog caught the attention of the person behind the camera. As the creature appeared to notice the observer, it seems to head straight in that direction. The video owner claims it's a dog man, but some skeptics argue that it appears more like a person in a costume. As the debate unfolds, opinions diverge on the authenticity of the footage. Is it a genuine encounter with a mysterious creature, perhaps a dogman as suggested, or could it be a scenario involving someone in costume? I think it's the latter. What about you?
Listen, that'd be crazy. Hold on.
Alright, picture this. It's 11 p.m. in Eastern Oregon, and this guy is strolling home minding his own business. But suddenly, he's hit with this bizarre symphony of laughter echoing from the woods.
It's actually gotten closer since it started.
We're talking hyena vibes mixed with a dash of doggy humor. And get this, it goes on for a solid 20 minutes, with the laughter gradually getting closer each time. Now, some folks are throwing around theories like it's Bigfoot throwing a comedy night in the forest, while others are whispering about possible skinwalker shenanigans. But truth be told, nobody's got the scoop on what exactly is going down in those woods. While surfing on the ocean, a surfer came across these strange creatures in the water. They were different in the water. What could these be? While some lean toward a mundane interpretation, attributing them to mere debris adrift in the sea, others with a discerning eye draw parallels to the intricate patterns of a South American sea nettle. South American sea nettles are a species of jellyfish found in the waters of the South Atlantic Ocean, particularly off the coast of South America. They're known for their distinctive bell-shaped and long trailing tentacles which can deliver a sting. What do you think? Jellyfish, debris, or something else? Now in this next footage, a security camera captures a ghostly apparition roaming in the dead of night. The entity had a human form, a head, arms, legs, everything. However, it wasn't tangible like a human. It looked like white smoke taking the form of a human. I know, the whole thing is quite strange. It has a posture like that of an elderly person. It moves with slow, haunting steps bent at the waist. Despite its appearance, we have to wonder, is this spectral figure on a haunting mission, or does it harbor unfinished business that ties it to the realms of the living? A gang of adventurers living it up on a glacier, having the time of their lives when they stumble onto something that turns their icy expedition into a frosty riddle. The ice surface is solid, supporting their weight, but here's the kicker. When they peek through it, there's water underneath. Now, what in the chilly world is happening here? It's like the ice is playing a sneaky game of optical illusions, treating them to a liquid magic show right onto their boots. Is it a secret entrance to an underwater wonderland, or just Mother Nature flaunting her icy tricks? The glacier seems to be keeping its secrets on ice, leaving our adventurers in awe and probably scratching their heads a bit. Turns out, ice adventures aren't just about epic views, they also come with front row seats to nature surprises. You know that feeling of being watched when you're walking all alone in a secluded place? Well, this footage was taken by a woman who was hiking in California when she felt uncomfortable, like someone was watching. As she glances around, a realization hits her. The weird feeling she's got isn't just a figment of her imagination. Right there, perched on a tree with this almost primal stillness, is a creature, one she's convinced is a Bigfoot. Peeking from a distance, the creature subtly reveals only a glimpse of its head and shoulders, but that sighting packs a serious punch. It sets off a bunch of questions and wild guesses. Is it some sort of forest guardian, a mythical being checking out the hiker passing by, or is it just a game of shadows and leaves playing tricks on us? Do you believe in mermaids? Depending on your answer, I'd say today is your lucky day. Check out this footage from a beach where something unusual was spotted on a rock in the middle of the ocean. The creature had an unmistakable fishtail, but as it moved, a human-like upper torso with long black hair and arms became apparent. The mysterious being then dove into the water, leaving behind a trail of questions. Could that have been a real mermaid, or was it just a hoax? There are various depictions of these fishy creatures, and some fossils of creatures suspected to be them exist. However, there has not been an official declaration that these creatures do exist. Despite that, there are new sightings almost every day somewhere on the planet. Having seen the footage, what do you think it might be? It's a close-up of a flower they stumbled upon in their neighborhood. Now take a look at this beauty. Vibrant petals, intricate details, it's a slice of nature right there. Makes you appreciate the little wonders you can find just around the corner. Any thought on what type of flower this might be? It looks like a burst of color in their everyday surroundings. Imagine this. You're casually grabbing a bottle of water from the fridge and bam, it turns into ice as if you've got some secret superpower. How cool would that be? Stop imagining, it happens in the next clip. Unfortunately, scientists have an explanation for it. So the deal is that the water in the bottle gets supercooled in the fridge, meaning it stays liquid below its usual freezing point. But the trick is not to mess with it, no opening the cap or shaking the bottle. The moment you do that, it's like a magic spell breaks and the water freezes right before your eyes. However, skeptics hold the idea that this is simply a glitch in the Matrix. Since everyone is entitled to their opinions, let us know in the comments section what you also think this is. Oh, we've got a little troublemaker on our hands. Caught in the act, this mischievous companion was frozen in place when its owner found it meddling with the tap. The guilt is practically written all over its adorable face as the water pours all over it. I can almost imagine the internal debate happening in its tiny head. Should I make a run for it or face the consequences? The moment of realization is pure gold, and the gradual head movement after the initial shock adds a touch of humor. It's almost as if the cat thought staying perfectly still could make it invisible. Classic pet antics. What do you think this furry friend was up to with the tap? Did you see it? A transparent or translucent being moves through the room around the area of the stairs. The uploader of the footage reiterates how the footage scared her and how she was still recovering from it. Now you tell me, what would you have done in her shoes? As you think about it, here's a quick one. Next, we have another perplexing footage you should definitely see. Have a look. In broad daylight, this Trailcam captures a glimpse of a black creature as it ventures deeper into the woods. Upon closer examination of it, it bears a resemblance to the legendary Sasquatch more commonly referred to as Bigfoot. Its black fur and robust and humanoid build are dead giveaways. Aside from its physique, the uploader of the footage mentioned that it was moving quite quickly, as though it didn't want to be seen. I know you might be wondering what if it's just an ape from the region, but this is where things get serious. There are no apes where this footage was recorded, and that could only mean one thing. This is the real deal. Unless, of course, this is an elaborate hoax, which I'm hoping it's not, but what do you think about the whole thing? Diving into the world of conspiracy theories, there's a buzz going around suggesting that NASA might be tinkering with digital maps to hide specific spots on Earth. In this video, someone takes us on a virtual tour, zooming in on a particular area until we land on this perplexing site with a weird pattern that looks a bit like a wall. The oddity of this place gets people wondering, sparking all sorts of theories about hidden agendas and deliberately keeping information under wraps. As we mull over the idea of secret operations in the digital space, there are lingering questions. Is NASA really up to something fishy, concealing certain places? And if they are, what kind of secrets could these hidden spots be holding? Or is this just a case of misinterpretation and coincidence? I hope the FBI doesn't come knocking on my door for this. In the depths of the forest captured by a trail camera, a perplexing scene unfolds as four dark-furred creatures work collaboratively to bring down a tree. The way they move, the unsettling noise they make, and their coordinated effort add an air of mystery to the footage. As people watch this mysterious video, speculations about their identity range from mundane explanations like monkeys to more fantastical suggestions involving young Bigfoot. The creature's determination to break the tree into two raises questions about their behavior and purpose. Could they be a known species of primates displaying an unusual behavior, or does this footage offer a glimpse into the elusive and legendary world of Bigfoot, suggesting a social structure and collaborative activities? Picture this. You're out for a leisurely stroll, and suddenly you spot the fabled Yeti casually doing push-ups on a hill. Sounds absolutely bonkers, doesn't it? But hold on, because we've got the footage to prove it. Not so crazy anymore, is it? This footage was reportedly captured by an adventurer who was exploring one of the remote mountain ranges in one of the cold regions. Curiously, our adventurer friend has opted to keep the location under wraps, citing safety concerns. In case you're not in the know, spotting a regular-sized human on a mountain peak is like trying to find a needle in a haystack, unless, of course, said human is the size of a small house. The being in this footage is very pronounced, which means it must be very large, which takes away any and all possibility of him being human. Interestingly, according to the uploader, this region is rumored to be a Yeti hotspot. Strangely though, tangible evidence has been elusive. He's confident that this footage prevents the most compelling evidence we've seen in quite some time. But why would a Yeti be doing press-ups? Is it trying to get over a breakup, or am I simply overthinking it? Either way, share your thoughts with us. Do you think that this is the real deal, or is someone just messing with us? We'd love to read your comments. Now let's journey to the enchanting swamps of southwestern Florida. Behold this captivating footage showcasing the effortless grace of a massive alligator gliding through the water, a truly majestic spectacle. When it comes to modern creatures that resemble a prehistoric lineage of dinosaurs, my hairs stand on end. The alligator captured in this footage is a prime example. If this doesn't give you shivers, I'm not sure what will. Fix your gaze on this scene. The alligator's eyes emit an eerie luminescence, casting an uncanny aura. At first glance, you might even wonder if it's some malevolent entity manifesting in our realm, but rest assured, the reality is far less sinister. This luminosity is attributed to a specialized layer called the tapetum lucidum, situated at the rear of the eyes. This adaptation allows their eyes to reflect light, resulting in this captivating radiance. Beyond the scary eyes, we have the size and weight to worry about. This colossal being tips the scales at around 1,000 pounds. They inhabit both terrestrial and freshwater domains, though they steer clear of salty waters. While they might nibble on the occasional fruit, make no mistake, these predators are born carnivores. On solid ground, their dash is surprisingly sprightly, yet their hefty frame exacts swift exhaustion. In sum, they're a formidable threat in both swampy waters and on terra firma. Whatever you do, avoid them like the plague when you see them. Get too close and, well, you might just become history just like the ancient dinosaurs. Farms are mostly targets of wild animals because of the abundance of meek prey that cannot defend themselves, especially when the farm is closer to the woods. In this footage, a farmer was filming her animals when she noticed something strange in the woods behind the animals. A big, shadowy creature hanging out in the woods right behind the animals. It's moving quickly, giving off this kind of stalking vibe, and then just like that, it vanishes into the dark. The farmer, watching all this go down, starts thinking maybe this isn't your everyday predator. The idea that it could be some paranormal creature starts crossing their mind. Encounters like these fuel speculation about the presence of mysterious beings in the vicinity of farms. While it's challenging to draw definitive conclusions from the footage, the eerie and elusive nature of the creature is very convincing. What do you guys think? In another bizarre encounter, a person walking in the streets at night stumbled upon a truly unsettling sight. A mysterious woman was standing still, observing passers-by with an eerie intensity. As the person filming approached, a more detailed look revealed something profoundly unsettling about her appearance. The woman's eyes were pitch black, devoid of any discernible humanity, and her face exhibited an otherworldly quality. The camera captured the unnerving moment as her gaze seemed to follow its movement. The overall impression is deeply unsettling, prompting the hope that this might be a Halloween stunt or some form of performance art, that an encounter with something beyond the realm of normalcy. Still on ginormous creatures, we travel all the way to Japan for our next footage. Before I reveal more, take a look. My initial reaction, what in the world is that abomination? I got my answer once the whole creature was in view. The sight of the numerous tentacles and arms initially gave me quite a scare. However, upon closer inspection, it revealed itself to be none other than a squid. Not your everyday squid though, but instead a giant squid. This footage was captured off the coast of Japan, showcasing an astonishing giant squid measuring at least 2.5 meters in length. Undoubtedly, seafood enthusiasts might find themselves drooling at its mere sight, yet for those unacquainted with such a spectacle, it could be quite an unsettling experience. It evokes memories of the legendary Kraken from myth and echoes its appearances in various films. While its size is undeniably impressive, let's be clear, it's a far cry from the colossal Kraken of ancient myths. But do tell us, will this scare you, or would it simply work up an appetite in you? We'd like to know. Going back to the ocean, prepare to be amazed by this intriguing footage captured by a fisherman off the coast of Krabi, Thailand. This man went fishing when he caught something unlike anything he's ever seen. A spider-like creature, but one with more legs than your average spider. From this footage, we can see the creature is quite large and has legs that look like sticks. The creature itself looks so unreal, like a tree branch. But here's where things get really strange. As the man pokes the creature, it starts moving its arms, proving that it is indeed alive and a genuine mystery of the deep. The footage has left all who saw it weirded out, but what do you think this could be? Tell us in the comments section. In the skies over Colombia, an observer became witness to a surreal phenomenon, a colossal human shadow cast against the expanse of the heavens. While clouds are known to occasionally take on diverse shapes, the distinctive features of this ethereal figure sparked a sense of intrigue and skepticism. Clouds usually take on all sorts of fun shapes, but the sharp and purposeful lines of this massive figure made people wonder more than usual. The clear outline of a head and shoulders got everyone thinking. Was it a mere play of light and shadow, or did the heavens momentarily unveil a glimpse of something beyond our comprehension? Talk about stumbling upon the holy grail of Bigfoot evidence. In the aftermath of a heavy snowstorm, a dedicated group of Bigfoot enthusiasts stumbled upon a remarkable spectacle. There were imprints of large feet, footprints that exceeded the size of an average human foot by 2 or 3 times. As they carefully examined the prints etched in the snow, a fascinating revelation unfolded before their eyes. The sheer size of the footprints varied, suggesting the presence of not just one, but potentially a family of these elusive creatures.
Yeah, I mean, the foot is melted away to make it look bigger. But look at
see,
the top of these right here.
Yeah.
Here, 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 and then it was the whole hill.
And let me ask you something.
Here, whole hill.
If you're looking down at these, do you know something different about this grouping?
There's a small one and
There's
a big
small one and a big one.
Some imprints were notably smaller, hinting at the possibility of a youngling walking alongside its more massive counterpart. Still on strange things, let's dive into something truly perplexing. Feast your eyes on this baffling footage. In this footage, an unknown individual holds a moving creature in their left palm while it exhibits physical bird-like features. The beak area raises several questions. At first glance, the black and white polka-dotted spots around it appear to resemble teeth. But teeth at such a young age? Weird, right? But that's not the only unsettling aspect. Perhaps it's the novelty of encountering a newborn bird outside of its nest that adds to the eerie feeling. But although we're inexperienced when it comes to birds, we're not sure birds should look like that. The uploader mentioned it was a gold-wattled bat, but a quick Google search will prove otherwise. Contrary to what we've uncovered, the appearance doesn't align with that of young gold-wattled bats. So what exactly are we dealing with here? Could it be an extraterrestrial entity, a genetic anomaly, or perhaps an entirely novel species? Well, we can't say. Time will tell, but I have a feeling it won't be pretty. What do you think? For this footage, I'm tempted to say so much, but perhaps I should let you do the talking on this one. You see the creature swimming, right? Do you have any idea of what creature or animal it could possibly be? Personally, I can't tell, but the uploader of the footage believes it's either a hippo or a mermaid. Yeah, you heard right, a hippo or a mermaid. Now, before you pick one of these two, you should know that the footage was recorded in the ocean. And well, you're more likely to find and hang out with a mermaid than you are to find a hippo swimming in the ocean. But with that said, I'd like to ask, what do you think that creature was? Our fascination with the unknown takes a peculiar turn with the discovery of an unconventional artifact, a miniature flying saucer adorned with cryptic symbols and detachable parts. It's like stumbling upon a cosmic puzzle, leaving everyone perplexed about its origins and purposes. As people examine this enigmatic object, the air is charged with speculation. Is it an alien gadget, a piece of extraterrestrial technology that defies our earthly comprehension? Or, on the flip side, could it be a creation of human ingenuity, wrapped in mystery to challenge our intellect? Share your thoughts. The vast and mysterious ocean has long been a source of fascination and fear. In this footage, we're confronted by what I can only describe as a mysterious sight. A colossal creature whose immense size is only confirmed by the tumultuous whirlwinds it stirs within the sea. The thunderous sound accompanying its movement add an ominous undertone to the unfolding story. As speculation ensues among the passengers, the question lingers. Could this be a sea monster, a creature of myth and legend, or does a more rational explanation exist for this marine anomaly? Continuing our exploration of intriguing little beings, feast your eyes on this upcoming footage. Did you catch that? As the footage begins, the cameraman approaches a tree, their hands trembling visibly. But don't jump to conclusions, it's not Parkinson's at play. Instead, it appears the camera is zoomed in to the absolute maximum. After a few moments, the cameraman's fascination becomes evident. Some black fingers appear on the tree, hiding a body behind them. Despite the cameraman's best attempts, we never see the body. In the last few seconds, however, two glowing eyes hidden within the trees look at him. And so a veil of uncertainty shrouds the scene, leaving us pondering. What manner of creature could this be? Someone in the comments section of the original post states that it's an Ewok. If you've watched Star Wars, you should know what they are, but some commentators more grounded in reality stated it was a raccoon. I'm tempted to lean in with the raccoon hypothesis, but what do you think? If you thought that was weird, take a look at this footage. Do you see it? Somewhere in the trees, there's a dark figure moving. Whatever it is, it realizes that it's being filmed and tries to hide behind the trees. It keeps staring in the direction of those filming until the clip ends. The uploader of the footage believes it's a Bigfoot, and quite frankly, I'm leaning into that explanation as well. Whatever creature it is, it also has fur all over it and is moving with a human-like gait. There's only one creature that's known to have these features, and it's none other than the legendary and elusive Bigfoot. Could this be actual footage of the cryptid, or is this an elaborate hoax to throw us off? We all know that trees have life, hence they reproduce, grow, and die. Sometimes it's even hard to believe that they're living because they're so inanimate and look lifeless, but this footage will change your mind. In Maryland, a person passing by stumbled upon a truly bizarre sight: trees seemingly on the move. It's the kind of thing you might expect to see in a Harry Potter movie. The trees, instead of standing still in the forest, decide to take a stroll, making their way from the woods to behind a building. The footage goes on for minutes, adding to the surrealness of the scene. Now, as whimsical as this looks, there are debates about what's going on. Some folks are sticking to the idea that the trees are moving, while others argue that there might be a hidden logger behind the house cutting and relocating the trees, creating the illusion of them moving. Since the person in the video didn't get closer to investigate, it's a bit of a head-scratcher, leaving us to wonder about the tree-walking mystery. If you've made it this far, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment? If you haven't already, it goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode. Two guys went into this creepy place and found something totally out of the ordinary. Inside this mysterious structure, they spotted a weird hole in the wall that hid who knows what. Feeling curious, or maybe a bit mischievous, the guys chucked a rock into the darkness. And, surprise, surprise, something unexpected happened. A creature jumped up, spreading its wings in a defensive move. The noise it made wasn't your typical bird's soundtrack. It was more like a hint that it was not an ordinary creature. The men, now scared, ran off as fast as they could, leaving us to wonder what creature that was. Now, we're no wildlife aficionados, and we won't pretend to be, but this next capture that was sent in by one of our astute viewers who says he's had 30 trail cams up for over 10 years. Despite this feat, he's no idea what the image I'm about to show you is. Have a look. Now, here's where the magic happens. On this very channel, you've astounded us time and again with your uncanny ability to discern and identify the denizens of the wild. Today, we're reaching out to you, our community of experts, to come to the aid of our fellow explorer. Take the reins and enlighten us. What creature do you believe graces this mysterious snapshot? Drop your insights in the comments section, and yes, our fellow enthusiasts will eagerly be poring over your thoughts. Picture this: a tranquil, moonlit evening, a leisurely walk, and then the unthinkable. But why spoil the surprise? Let the footage speak for itself. The footage starts out pretty normal till you realize that the one recording moves the camera to one spot and doesn't move. It's almost as though she's frozen in time, and you start wondering why until you see it. A white being emerges from the shadow, moving in a similar fashion as a gorilla would, and pauses to stare at the one recording. At that moment, the recording ends, leaving you wonder what happened to the recorder. But then again, the person uploading means the person survived the experience. Now, let's tackle the burning question. What on earth, or beyond, did we just witness? As much as I'd revel in the idea of encountering a bona fide paranormal entity, something niggles at my skepticism. The entity's appearance seems eerily computer-rendered, and picture this: a hair-raising woodland encounter with a shadowy being. Trust me, steady hands might be a luxury. My gut leans towards a CGI fabrication. So, in my opinion, it's fake and simply CGI. But what's yours? In this clip, we see the exact same thing, a plane stuck mid-air above some woodlands. One of the commentators on the video shared a terrifying experience of being a passenger on a plane that went through something similar. All of you talk about seeing it, but I was on a plane when this happened. It was terrifying, especially for someone who understands the physics at play in aviation as a whole. I glanced out of the window to see lights standing still on the ground, the engines not in use. 10 seconds later, I heard the turbines winding up and a loud roar as the 737-900ER plowed forward into the headwind to land. It was such a weird sensation to feel the plane, and the G-forces almost ceased to exist in the air. The thought of being trapped in an aircraft hovering in mid-air must have been a truly harrowing experience. Can we believe her? Well, we have no way of verifying her story, but if it's indeed true, then I have questions. The first is, who's keeping everyone experiencing these things quiet? Secondly, could the government be involved? Is this a bigger conspiracy than we think? I guess we'll never truly know. However, another commentator provided some fascinating insight into the situation by suggesting that what we were witnessing is the parallax effect. The parallax effect is when things seem to move when you look at them from different angles. This happens because the way things look changes depending on where you're looking from. If it sounds familiar, it's because it's the same explanation the reporter from earlier gave. This leaves us with one question. Who is telling the truth? In the video footage, a bright and unusual light is seen in the night sky. As the footage progresses, a glowing circle emerges from the light and begins to move around in the sky. It looks like some sort of portal. However, there is something about the whole scene that suggests it could be a hoax. The comment section of the original uploader is filled with people speculating about the authenticity of the video. Many individuals believe that the footage is computer-generated imagery, CGI, while others think it could be a blue beam projection. It's difficult to say what the truth is, but one thing is certain. There's definitely something odd about this clip. I just can't put my finger on it. Can you? This drone capture is from a vicinity mostly made up of a large plantation with grass in different stages and shades of their colors. If you pay attention further to the north, you'd see the grove of trees in many different lengths, all visible as the sun shines. It's all green grass and tall trees until a dark figure is seen in front of two white pillars that looks like a gateway between Earth and another world. The being is walking without a care in the world. Although we see a dark creature et al., it possesses a human-like gait when it walks. Here's where things get weird. No humans were expected to be in the area where the footage was recorded at the point it was. In fact, think of it more as an abandoned area with little to no people traversing it. Yet we see this tall, dark figure seemingly taking a stroll. This begs the question, what is it? A Bigfoot or a man in a suit? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Next, we have drone footage from an unnamed rural area. The footage starts off as one of those documentaries from the rural areas, but soon enough, we realize it's not. As the footage plays on, a peculiar and unsettling sight unfolds. At the entrance of what seems to be an old deserted shack in the middle of nowhere, we spot a pale and ghostly figure crouched on the ground, seemingly engrossed in some activity. The nature of this activity remains shrouded in mystery. Moments later, this enigmatic figure becomes aware of the drone's presence and proceeds to exit the shack and move towards the compound. As the figure draws nearer, we can discern that its appearance is both human-like and disfigured, evoking eerie and unsettling qualities. Some refer to this kind of being as a rake or a skinwalker, often associated with otherworldly creatures or even extraterrestrial entities. The questions that emerge are numerous. What might a creature of this nature be doing in a town setting? What could its intentions be in this particular part of town? The footage leaves us with a perplexing and unsettling enigma. As much as I'd love to believe this thing is real and genuine, a part of me believes. No, a part of me knows that this is definitely a hoax. The coincidences are just too numerous, and also, the being looks like it might be a human pretending to be something else. Well, looks like we've got a real-life spider mystery on our hands. We all know that Peter Parker was bitten by a spider. What if someone found that spider? Someone came across this red and blue spider skittering about, its colors strikingly similar to none other than Spider-Man himself. Now, before you dismiss the whole thing, let's entertain the possibility for a moment. Could this be the very spider that sank its fangs into Peter Parker all those years ago, granting him his arachnid-inspired abilities? Given this is real life, well, that can't be, right? Unless, of course, there's more to the Spidey story than we know. But wait, before you stop planning your crime-fighting career, let's step back and think logically. While it's tempting to believe in superhero-like spiders, the reality is usually more complicated. This could just be a random spider with a striking resemblance to the web slinger, or a creation meant to mislead. Still, the idea of finding a real-life Spider-Man spider is fascinating. Who knows, there might be someone shooting webs out there. Next, we have another alleged clip of the Mars rover that shows a small insect walking on it. This sighting is particularly fascinating considering that there has been no evidence of life on Mars to date. The insect appears to be a small creature with a distinct shape on the rover's surface. Naturally, this led to a lot of mixed reactions online. While many wondered how a fly could survive on such a harsh planet, or how it got there in the first place, one particular user called our outlook arrogant. In his own words, it's arrogant to assume we know where life can exist based on the conditions on our planet. To an extent, I agree with him. What if the conditions for life on other planets are very different from ours? For instance, we all know how fragile snails can be, but did you know that there are some snails that live in volcanic regions? If we were using what we know about our ordinary snails, then those volcanic snails should not exist. But here we are. They are even a wonder to many scientists. In the same vein, perhaps we could be measuring the possibility of life on Mars using the wrong metrics. Anyway, back to the discussion. As the discussion and debates raged on, some individuals pointed out that, although we were looking at a rover, this particular rover was not on Mars but in the desert. If this is true, it's certainly disappointing. But then again, it doesn't change the facts we mentioned earlier. Perhaps if we want to discover life on other planets, we need to stop looking at things through the lens of our own planet. Surely we can use that as a starting point, but it shouldn't be the only lens we wear. If you thought that was weird, I have one that might calm your nerves. Enter Bigfoot. The footage you see has been the cause of many debates. The debates have been on its authenticity. If you ask me, however, the creature or being moving in the footage does not appear to be CGI. The only way this could be fake is if it was a human in a bodysuit. I'm no expert, but that doesn't seem to be the case here, unless, of course, you know some 8-foot humans that are willing to play dress-up in the woods. Even then, I doubt the costume would come out this good, but that's just me. What do you think? For our next footage, we go all the way to Indonesia for a rather unconventional capture. Don't just take my word for it, take a look. Yes, you're actually looking at some sort of weird-looking giant. This is the first time we've seen this particular footage, and a subscriber here drew our attention to it. According to the original uploader, the creature just showed up at the end of their street and remained still as though it were waiting for something or someone. Looking at the creature, it's much larger and taller than an estimated size we have for Bigfoot, suggesting it's not a Bigfoot. It appears to have a lot of fur and is obviously a humanoid. Does this fit any known cryptid? Well, not one that we are aware of, but as much as I'd love for this to be real, it just doesn't feel like it. I have a strong feeling that whoever uploaded this was trying very hard to mislead us. I think this might have been a statue or something set up in the area where the footage was taken from. Given the fact that nobody is running or screaming in the footage, I'm tempted to think so. Just in case you're wondering what I think about the camera shake, well, I believe it's more fake than the video is. The shake doesn't even look the least bit realistic, but that might just be my thinking. What do you see when you look at the footage? Do you think I'm being overly critical and skeptical? Share your thoughts in the comments section. I'll be reading. Mars is a planet that has long fascinated scientists and astronomers alike. It's often referred to as Earth's backup planet, with some experts believing that it was once teeming with life and greenery similar to our planet. To better understand the planet, its history, and potential for life, many robotic missions have been launched to the planet. Researchers have made some fascinating discoveries from these missions. One of the most notable findings was a long streak on the planet's surface that ended in a curve that appeared to be a craft of some kind, possibly a saucer-shaped object. This discovery raised questions about whether there could be intelligent life on the planet and whether they could be responsible for such an object. In 2020, scientists deployed a device to the planet's surface to measure Mars quakes. However, they were surprised to discover strange, unexplainable noises coming from beneath the planet's surface. These noises culminated in a loud howl, which left the scientists wondering what could have caused it. Some experts believe that it could be evidence of life beneath the surface, while others think that it could be something more sinister. More recently, in March 2021, a rover was sent to Mars to capture visual footage of the planet. While analyzing the footage, scientists noticed something in the sky that resembled a bird. To confirm their suspicions, they placed a pixelated image of a bird next to the object, and the two appeared almost identical. This discovery was particularly intriguing as it suggested that there may be avian life on the planet. Not everyone buys into the bird theory, though. Some NASA experts mentioned that a helicopter named Ingenuity went with the rover for the expedition. That made me think we were dealing with that particular helicopter, but it didn't match the captured image when placed side by side. Some suggested dust particles, but that would have been captured on all four images and not just one. Some also think it might be the foil of rover's insulation that might have blown off some minutes before it landed. While these sound plausible, many enthusiasts want to believe it's alien. The fact that no definite explanation can be given for a number of the situations described here has led many to hypothesize that there could be life on Mars, whether it be intelligent or microbial. While there is still much to learn about the planet, these discoveries have piqued the interest of individuals around the world. You have seen the clip yourself. What do you think? The pace of technological advancement is astounding, and there are always new and exciting gadgets being developed.
Yeah! Yes! All right. Woo-wee. Wow, so...
At SXSW, Disney showcased a revolutionary robot that could move with an unprecedented level of agility and express emotions. The robot's motion capture technology allowed it to execute complex actions with astonishing precision. Watching the robot perform graceful somersaults and effortlessly get back on its feet was truly mesmerizing. What was particularly striking was the way the hosts interacted with the robot. They treated it as if it were a human child, carrying it and hoisting it on their shoulders with ease. The movements of the robot were so lifelike that it was easy to forget that it was a machine. However, it's worth noting that Disney has faced criticism in the past for some of its activities. As a result, the fact that they're developing robots that resemble human children is somewhat disconcerting. Does the company have ulterior motives? Some do think so, but some are also simply worried about what such technological innovations could mean for humanity. What about you, though? What are your thoughts on this? Share them in the comments section.
Ooh-wee. Wow, so
Still on our streak of strange things, we have another footage you will want to see. This footage was taken by an individual who was out of their home with his mom during a storm. We don't know the exact circumstances that had them out long enough to have been caught in a storm, especially when they were in a structure so close to their home. Next, we have another video clip capturing the curiosity of animals. In this footage, we see a camera being licked by what could be presumed as the legendary creature, Bigfoot. The footage begins with a striking red hue, which sets an eerie tone. As it continues, we witness what appears to be a tongue licking the camera screen, an unexpected sight in Trailcam captures. The uploader claims this isn't the first occurrence and believes he may be dealing with a juvenile Bigfoot playing with the camera equipment. It may sound like a stretch, but what are your thoughts on this? Share in the comments section. If you thought that was an isolated incident, it's clearly because you haven't seen this clip.
This plane traveling into San Francisco is seemingly defying the laws of physics. It appears to just be sitting still in the air. It's gone viral. It was taken by a man from the window of a nearby plane. The video is actually an optical illusion. It's called the parallax effect. It's a type of visual illusion in which the position of a moving object appears to freeze due to the position of the observer.
This was captured by a passenger on a plane while flying over the waters of San Francisco. And yes, it's another plane stuck in the sky. The news tried to tell everyone that it was normal and something that occurred often. They tried to explain it as an optical illusion, which would have sounded logical, but the audience and masses rejected the explanation. A number of individuals stated that they could see the cars below moving, which didn't make sense. Many individuals also stated that they'd experienced it themselves and that the explanation being given by the news was not logical. Naturally, this got me very curious, and I went down the rabbit hole in search of the truth. My search led me to our next clip. Have you ever heard of the expression, the more the merrier?
Oh my God. I cannot believe I'm getting this on video.
Well, in this video that has been circulating online, someone captured an unusual sight in the sky. 3 celestial bodies can be seen, and it's difficult to determine exactly what they are. The footage was taken at sunset, which makes it seem as if the 3 objects are 3 moons hanging in the sky. However, this seems unlikely given what we know about Earth's natural satellites. Our planet is known to have only 1 moon, so the presence of 2 additional moons is highly unusual. It's not every day that we get to witness something that seems to defy the laws of nature, so it's no wonder that this footage has captured people's attention. But how is this even possible? Normally, photographers will tell you it's the reflection of the lens, and surely enough, we weren't the only ones looking for that comment. I'm no expert at photography, but I don't think this is one of those instances where we're dealing with the reflection of the camera lens. We can't, however, say the same for this next one.
I ain't about to release this shit though. I'm not trying to have somebody follow me. Bro, what in the hell?
Next, we have a Trailcam capture from the woodlands that's somewhat blurry. In the capture, however, we see the trees and some leaves hanging here and there with little to no grass on the ground. With all the blurriness and no grass situation is a black object lying lifeless on the ground. Shape-wise, it comes off as an ape-like creature lying on its back. I'm tempted to think ape or Bigfoot, but perhaps it's simply my paranormal and imaginative brain at work. What do you think, though? What do you see when you look at the capture? I'd like to read in the comments. Deers are curious, yet very careful creatures. It's only natural for them to observe unexpected and unknown objects in their environments from a safe distance. Clearly, that's what the doe in this capture is doing. She's noticed the strange light orb and is looking at it. But what at all could it be? Well, if you've been on this channel for long, then you know that the deer is looking at a spirit orb. They tend to become visible during heightened spiritual or paranormal activity. At least, that's what we believe. Is the capture legit, though? We want to believe it is, but there's something offsetting about its looks and body language. I just can't seem to put a finger on it. Perhaps it's just me. If you notice it too, please do share it in the comments section. Have you ever wondered how the ancients looked at our celestial bodies during an eclipse? Well, I have a useful tip that will enhance your eclipse viewing experience. Instead of purchasing expensive eclipse glasses or finding other ways to view the eclipse directly, you can use a simple household item to create a projection of the eclipse. All you need is a bucket or bowl of water and a sunny vantage point. By placing the bucket or bowl of water in a spot where it can reflect the eclipse, the reflection will project onto the surface inside the container, allowing you to view the eclipse safely and clearly without staring directly at the sun. This method is a safe and cost-effective alternative to traditional eclipse viewing methods. Be sure to give it a try during the next eclipse. When we board a plane, we expect it to take off and move through the sky to our destination. However, imagine if the plane somehow got stuck in mid-air. Sounds like something that belongs to a sci-fi movie, right? But no. Yes, that's a plane stuck mid-air. According to the one who sent the clip in, it happened as he was driving through town. He looked up and then saw a small plane seemingly suspended in the air without moving an inch. Baffled, he recorded the whole thing and placed it online. Many who saw it believed it had to be CGI. Others thought it was an illusion. The comment section of the original post was nothing but a war zone, with each person stating why it was what they believed it was. Now that you have seen the clip, feel free to join the battle. What do you think we're dealing with here? Before you join in, though, take a look at my favorite of all the comments. Next, we have this rather odd footage we'd love for you to see as well. We've been scratching our heads over this one, and we're eagerly anticipating your insights or perhaps a collective head-scratching session. Have a look at the image. At first glance, I'm tempted to call it a bear due to its bear-like visage. But hang on, bears aren't typically this diminutive, are they? Interestingly, this snapshot hails from Louisiana, where bears do roam. However, the local bear species tends to be smaller than its grizzly counterparts. Despite their petite stature, I find it hard to believe they're quite this petite. Despite their small sizes, however, I doubt they are this small. I mean, this looks too small to even be a cub. If you've been on the channel for a while, then you know I sort of make mistakes when it comes to recognizing species of the same family. Am I making another mistake, or is there something odd going on here? Please tell me in the comments section, as I'd really love to know. Stepping away from the world of amazing giant animals, let's take a step into what many consider the paranormal realm. It starts off like your ordinary trail cam footage of the forest landscape at night. The dead silence of the night, however, makes it clear that we should expect more, and we are not disappointed. From nowhere, a creature of the night emerges, moving on all fours. My initial reaction? A skinwalker, perhaps. But alas, skinwalkers aren't exactly known for their slender frames. TS unsettling movements reveal it's no skinwalker, but rather a contender for something even more unsettling, a possible rake. The skinny long arms and the possibly white and smooth skin make us think that this is the case. But is it really? Well, would like your opinion on this one, so what do you think?
Dark matter is found in our genomes, and it's known as biological dark matter. The genetic code of every living being may contain this dark matter, which consists of genetic material or microorganisms that are still unclassified or very poorly understood.
Stepping away from robotics, did you know only 2% of your DNA codes are for proteins, with up to 98% of your genome not coding for anything? This is something scientists refer to as dark matter. Nobody knows the exact functions of these DNA and RNA sequences, or why they're even present at all. One thing scientists can, however, agree on when it comes to dark matter is that it helps in regulating and determines how nearby genes are expressed and in which type of cells. Scientists have found thousands of genes in the dark matter, and yet, despite their dedication to uncovering the truth, they don't know what these do, not even their role in disease. They've also established that a number of the dark matter regions remain the same in humans, mice, and other living creatures such as chickens. Scientists concluded that although they didn't know what these were or how they functioned, they must be vital to our survival, especially when you take into consideration our evolution over millennia. In a study, some researchers altered the dark matter of some mice, and it led to abnormalities in their brains. They then concluded that dark matter could be related to brain diseases like Alzheimer's. Interesting, don't you think? Well, wait till you find out that up to 50% of the material in your gut does not match any other living creature in our known world. Wild, right? But that's a story for another day. Before you dispel the bird clip, take a look at this one. We only get to see them drop out of nowhere. I have seen this clip before, and we have even featured it here on this channel some months ago. The hypothesis from authorities is that the birds could have inhaled something toxic or been shocked electrically whilst flying. That sounds logical, right? I mean, I also accepted such an explanation in the past. But when I connect this clip and the one just before it, the previous one sort of makes sense. Now, hear me out. What if these birds were also somehow frozen in the atmosphere and they just dropped when they unfroze? What if whatever glitch that's been happening didn't work well with these birds and they lost control for some seconds after the glitch ended? I mean, I know this is a bit of a wild one, but think about it and let me know your thoughts in the comments section. While the land has seen its fair share of peculiar sightings, the world beneath the waves holds a treasure trove of mysteries waiting to be unveiled. Every day, new and bewildering creatures are captured on camera, adding to the enigma of our planet. With a mere 5% of the ocean's vast expanse explored by humanity, we've already encountered a plethora of bizarre and inexplicable marine life. Allow us to introduce you to the Archosargus probatocephalus, commonly referred to as the sheep's head fish. Its remarkable feature, a head that uncannily echoes human facial features. In a departure from the minuscule and razor-sharp teeth of its aquatic counterparts, the sheep's head fish showcases an astonishing trait. Its mouth is adorned with teeth reminiscent of those found in humans. Notably, two upper front teeth jut out prominently. As for its culinary potential, I can't say for certain, but I must admit the thought of finding my own face staring back at me from a plate isn't exactly appetizing. While not of paranormal origin, the fish's appearance remains undeniably eerie and disconcerting. Or am I being too critical of a fish? Either way, have you seen any of these fish in person? What was the experience like? Still in Thailand, meet the leptocephalids, transparent creatures that seem like they're made of glass. Here's a riddle for you. Think of a sea creature that shares similarities with the leptocephalids. If you guessed eel, you're absolutely right. Leptocephalids are the larvae of eels. These flat, almost extraordinary creatures are slow swimmers and thrive in any water. They feed on plankton, which includes microscopic organisms like small crustacean larvae and other tiny particles in the water. While some species of eels, when they're adults, may consume crustaceans, insects, and smaller fishes, the larvae, Leptocephali, primarily rely on plankton for their diet. Despite their invisible power, these creatures still fall prey to fishes like lance fish, tuna, yellowfin, and other species. These creatures have a lifespan of 2 years and are one of the coolest sea creatures I have ever seen. What about you? When we observe an eclipse, it's always from the Earth's perspective. However, this time, let's take a closer look at it from space. The following image was captured by a Starlink satellite during an eclipse on Earth. At least, that's the narrative that came with the original post. Being the inquisitive me, I checked to see if it was true, because you know how it is on the internet. Surely enough, it was. The satellite appears to be moving around the Earth, and the eclipse appears as a patch of blackness on the Earth. The contrast between the bright areas of the Earth and the shadow of the eclipse is striking. From the satellite's perspective, it looks like a black hole or some other mysterious object, adding to the eerie feeling of the image. It's incredible to see this phenomenon from a different perspective, and it reminds us of the vastness and complexity of our solar system. That doesn't mean we're done with Mars just yet. Take a look at this fascinating capture. The image displays what appears to be a pale head and shoulders wrapped in dark robes. The figure resembles a monk who's in deep meditation on the ground. The photograph has sparked debates among researchers and space enthusiasts about the possibility of life on the red planet. However, it's difficult to confirm the existence of monks or any other life forms on Mars, since there is no concrete evidence to support such claims. The planet's harsh environment and lack of oxygen make it an inhospitable place for life to thrive. At least, that's what we've been told. The site has had many talking, but let's take a breather and think of things logically. The planet is supposed to be extremely hot, right? So how could the man be sitting there and meditating? Also, does his presence mean humans made it to Mars, or does it point at the fact that there are species on Mars that look like humans? From a logical standpoint, this is just ridiculous, but then again, we live in a strange and mysterious universe. Anything is possible. For once, almost 95% of the online community where this was originally posted believe it's fake. They think it might have just been taken on Earth or edited. The black and white nature of the footage does little to help its credibility too. I'm tempted to side with those who think it's a hoax, but what do you guys think? Speaking of ginormous creatures, have a good look at this next one. Yup, that's an actual wolf, and no, it's not a normal-sized wolf, but a gigantic one. In the footage, the wolf looks like it's roaming the area the footage was taken and having fun. In the initial seconds of the footage, it looks like it's a normal size, but as the one filming gets closer and the wolf draws nigh, it becomes apparent that's no normal wolf. But are there any records of wolves that size? Well, we didn't actually think so, but it turns out there's actually a cryptid known as the saber wolf, or wahila, that's known to inhabit the north and western part of the United States. And guess where this footage was reportedly taken? Alaska. And yes, it's in the northwestern part of the United States. So do you think we're dealing with the real thing, or could something else be going on here? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. If you do live in Alaska, could you confirm if you have seen these things or at least heard the rumors about them? We'd love to hear from you, even if it's a no. If you thought the last Bigfoot footage was up close and personal, watch this one. The footage starts off casually looking like a normal footage till we spot a black figure in the background. It gets all shaky from there, and we can barely see the subject except for a few times the cameraman captured it. Now, here's the twist. Could the cameraman's trembling hands be attributed to genuine fear, rendering the footage raw and unsettling, or might this intentional tremor serve as a clever diversion, masking the truth of its authenticity? My gut nudges me towards skepticism, hinting at a fabrication, but I'm eager to hear your take. Don't hold back, let those keyboards sing in the comments section. Can trees move? Before you answer, watch this footage. We have fantasies we wish could be our reality, but if we know anything about life, it's that that's not how life works. Yet, right before you in this Trailcam footage is something that looks mythical and magical. The footage unveils a forest adorned with towering trees, adorned in moss, surrounded by lush grass. Yet, the true intrigue lies with the trees right in the center of the footage. In a captivating display, this particular tree responds to some unseen cue, opening and closing to unveil its slightly carved and intricately crafted innermost part. It almost looks as though the tree is moving or breathing. Is this something magical, or is there a logical explanation for it? If there is, could you tell us in the comments section, because we'd like to know. Paying close attention to this footage, we see the trees shake and sway back and forth. It's no doubt that there's a powerful force moving through the forest, but what creature could shake the trees this much? The truth is, no one knows, and the individual whose drone was capturing the whole thing refused to move closer to avoid being spotted by whatever it is or angering it. He didn't want to take the chance and end up with regrets, that is, losing his gear or having such a powerful being come after him. What do you think, though? What creature could have exuded such power? What would you have done in this position? Tell us in the comments section. Next, we have this clip that a man in South Florida shared online that he took sometime in February 2024.
Sorry. Here in South Florida, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Going out and capturing. Always looking up at the sky.
In the clip, we can see an object that appears to be moving in a vertical motion with a pinkish glowing hue hidden by the clouds. He initially thought it was the moon, but that was the wrong position for the moon at that time of the night. Unsure of what he'd captured, the man shared the clip online. The first thing he discovered when he shared the post online was he was not the only one who had seen it. The individuals who took the image insisted that it was not the moon, which also tied into the man's narrative. Once the moon was rolled out, those who saw the post thought it might be a rocket launch or something similar to that, but that was also written off. Despite the skepticism surrounding it being a rocket, I did some digging around and realized that there were some rocket launches in February. This includes the SpaceX Falcon 9 NASA PACE mission and the SpaceX Falcon 9 United States Space Force Mission 124. There's a possibility that these launches were what the individuals saw, but some thought it was Project Bluebeam. If you aren't familiar with this, it's a conspiracy theory that suggests that the government is using advanced technology to create holographic images in the sky as a means of controlling the population. Without further evidence, like the exact date, time, and location from which the clip was recorded, we can say this is a rocket launch. That doesn't mean it's impossible, though. Speaking of the Bluebeam project, we don't have a lot of evidence to support it, but the absence of evidence doesn't mean the lack of it. Some have also suggested that the glowing object could be a meteor, a satellite, or even a UFO. You have seen the clip yourself, so what do you think it could be? Stepping away from the Martian possibilities, we move back to Earth, where one of us has apparently lost touch with the Earth. In the clip, we see a man floating in the sky with no tethers or anything either pulling him up or holding him down. The sight is a strange one, and it has led to many discussions and interpretations online. Some think the man is possessed, while some think there's something invisible holding him up. Many others wanted to believe it was a hoax, but there was a law enforcement officer there, which adds a layer of authenticity to the whole thing. There were some who also thought it was an otherworldly being, perhaps a soul reaper. As with many of these clips, we don't have a lot of background information, which makes it very hard to determine how authentic they truly are. But then again, you see the whole thing, don't you? What do you think we're dealing with here? What if I told you that the paranormal is not the only thing that could make you question all you know about our reality? Maybe I should just show you. Does it not look majestic? The creature on your screen is very much real, and your text today is identifying it. Do you know what species it is? Do you know a rare fact about this particular species? Tell us in the comment section and start your comment with bonus footage so we easily identify it. The most accurate description with the rarest fact will win a feature in our next video. All the best. This footage presents an intriguing discovery made by an intrepid explorer of the wild. The individual sought to investigate unusual tracks, and you won't believe what he discovered. At first glance, these footprints appear to be of human origin, resembling the impressions left behind by a person's feet or shoes. However, upon closer examination and comparison with the recorder's own shoe prints, it becomes evident that these footprints exhibit a unique characteristic: their depth. The depth to which these footprints penetrate the ground suggests a muddy or soft terrain, indicating that whatever creature left them possessed considerable weight or power. Given the profound depth of these footprints and the remote wilderness in which they were found, one theory emerges: the presence of the legendary Bigfoot. Bigfoot, often associated with elusive encounters in forested regions, is a creature that has fueled the imaginations of many. The investigator believes it's a juvenile Bigfoot, given how small but deep the footprints are. I must say that this is a sentiment I can agree with. What do you see when you look at the sky? It looks like a ring of light of sorts, right? A glowing white circle which has somehow found a way to be suspended in the atmosphere. Naturally, all who saw this were puzzled. What could this be? One thing we can be certain of is that it's definitely not a cloud. Clouds don't look or act like that. Once this was shared in the paranormal community I belong to, different individuals came up with different theories. The most prominent of these theories was that we were looking at a portal to another dimension. Now, I get why people will think this. The concept of aliens and interdimensional beings has been a part of human culture for millennia, and seeing this will certainly bring them to mind. The only thing is, not many of us have actually seen a portal to another dimension, so our ideas of what it looks like come from movies and books. This led many others to also conclude that this may just be CGI. Which of these groups is right? Well, we can't say for sure. No one's seen a portal before, so we can't discredit this being one even if it looks a little funny. I mean, if it's interdimensional, what if other dimensions look slightly different from ours? That possibility doesn't mean the video can't be made up. Some of these things can be created using editing software on PCs even. AI is capable of these things now. That gives some merit to the thought that this could be CGI. Which of these is the most probable reality, though? That I will leave to you to decide. Take a look at this footage. A man dressed in all black is walking down the stairs of a building when suddenly, out of nowhere, a body appears from the ground and bounces aggressively. The man seemed alarmed by it and even almost tripped over the strange being. However, he manages to hold his ground, turns around, and stares at the lifeless body that just appeared out of nowhere. It is bizarre, I must say. Did the body somehow transport itself from another dimension, or is it possible that a person is being returned from an alien abduction? It's hard to say given the limited number of seconds we get to see the clip. Some in the paranormal community, like this lad, believe the lady, assuming the body is really feminine, fell, but that's a hard pill to swallow. There's no evidence showing a fall from any height. Secondly, there's no blood, and a bounce isn't exactly what you would expect from a fall on such a surface. The alternative is a glitch, which many have ascribed to. Others argue that it's teleportation. But like I said, this is something we can never be really sure of. What do you guys think? Are there elements in the clip I missed that might explain the mystery? Please share your insights. In this video clip, we witness a late-night ride with the passenger recording the journey as the car passes through a grove of trees illuminated by an overhead light. However, the drive takes an unexpected turn when the car slows down, drawing attention to a peculiar sight. Among the trees, a dark creature moves. Due to the limited visibility and darkness, it's hard to tell exactly what it is. Many in the paranormal community speculated that it might be a skunk ape. Given the fact that we have little to go on about, it's an impossibility. But there are others who think it's nothing more than a black bear and that the footage was recorded by some park rangers. The video offers a fascinating glimpse of the animal's size and movements, but it's essential to remember that sometimes in low light or unusual conditions, things may appear differently than they actually are. So I have said what I believe it to be. What do you personally think? Have you ever been on one of those long family trips? Do you have any interesting memories from them? If you do, I doubt they can compare to what this family captured from their trip. As you watch the current footage, notice the camera's focus on a tree at the center of the frame. Keep an eye on that tree and you'll spot a shadow moving behind it. Do you see it? It doesn't look like anything you have encountered, does it? If you were hoping I'd identify this creature and share its history as we usually do on this channel, I must disappoint you today. We have gone through our archives on cryptids and other paranormal beings, and it doesn't match with anything in our database. We're tempted to think that this is the first time this paranormal being or shadow creature has been caught on camera. Some, including the family that recorded it, have stated it's definitely a Bigfoot, but that's something we just don't see. Do you, though? Someone also posted a similar situation where they saw more than 2 heavenly bodies in the sky.
Hey! What the fuck?
In a video that captured this event, 2 crescent-shaped objects appeared to be descending toward a larger, brighter sphere that was below them. As these objects got closer to the sphere, they vanished for a brief moment due to the brightness emitted by the sphere.
It's 2 figures in the air. It's 2 figures in the air.
Some people who've seen the footage suggest that this could be a reflection of some kind, while others believe it could be something else entirely. It's unclear what these objects are or where they came from, but there are a section who are refusing to think it's anything out of the ordinary. What about you, though? What do you think?
It's like 4 suns lined up.
It seems that not only planes can experience mid-air mishaps. Recently, this fascinating video surfaced on YouTube. In the clip, we can see a bird that appears to be stuck in mid-air. This phenomenon is often associated with a glitch in the matrix, a term used to describe unexplainable occurrences that defy the laws of physics and reality as we know them. The video, which has since gone viral, shows the bird suspended in the air, seemingly frozen in time, with its wings spread out as if it were flying or at least trying to fly. Now, is this another case of the parallax effect as well? Well, I doubt that. The angle from which the clip is being shot should not lead to the effect. This leaves us with a couple of possibilities. The bird is indeed frozen in time, there's a glitch in the matrix, or this is CGI. At least that was my hypothesis. I gleaned through a number of the comments on the original post and found something rather interesting. This user, for instance, stated that the issue only existed because the FPS on cam was not in sync with the speed at which the bird was flapping its wings. Another mentioned that it might just be a kite. As varied and diverse as these opinions were, a majority of those in the community believed this was real and possibly a glitch of some sort. Take a look at this pet parrot. It flew to its owner's bed, and at the head of the bed, on the pillow where the man's head lay, the parrot began plucking out its beautiful yellow and green feathers to decorate the man's black hair. This bird clearly has an eye for design, as the makeover is quite striking. Parrots are known for their intelligence and playful nature, but this one seems to have taken it to the next level. After a little reading around, it turns out the bird felt the man's head was bare and not good looking. It then took upon itself to decorate it. Apparently, birds only do this with someone they feel is one of them. In human language, this is just like saying, "I love you," and boy, would I give you anything for Pickles, my orange cat, to show this level of affection to me. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Oh yeah, before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love. See you in the next one.